Chapter 545. No matter if he snatched parking spaces or overtook other cars, the other cars would always give way. Moreover, his identity had made him develop a domineering nature. In the end, boom, a loud sound was heard. The Land Rover directly crashed into Xiao Chen's Jetta. However, the crash and death that Tian Wangchuan and Su Chuxia had imagined did not happen. Xiao Chen's car was fine. It only shook slightly from side to side. However, the Land Rover's front was dented. The entire engine compartment was deformed. It was basically ruined. Xiao Chen continued to reverse and then got into position. In the end, there were only slight scratches on the paint on the Jetta. Looking at the ruined Land Rover, Xiao Chen couldn't help but feel amused. His car was modified by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau at a great cost. It looked like a Jetta, but in fact, it was not a Jetta at all. Basically, it was similar to an armored car. The driver of the Land Rover got out of the car. He was a little dumbfounded. What is this situation? How come my car is in such a state, but the other party is fine? This is impossible, right? However, when he carefully looked at Xiao Chen's car, there wasn't even a dent. He was finally a little angry. What kind of car is this? How is this possible? How did you damage my car like this? Kid, come over here. Don't waste time. Hurry up and give me the money. Xiao Chen extended his hand to the driver of the Land Rover and said directly. Although the driver of the Land Rover didn't look like a good person with a shaved head, tattoos, and 2 underlings and a mistress in the car, Xiao Chen didn't care at all. Give me the money? Kid, you damaged my car, and you still want me to give you the money? Let me tell you, I just spent more than 3 million on this Land Rover a few days ago. I'm selling it to you now. The bald man snorted coldly and looked at Xiao Chen coldly. His 2 underlings also got out of the car and surrounded Xiao Chen. They looked like they were going to start a fight if the negotiation didn't work out. Sell it to me? I won't buy it since it's like this. You should sell it to the scrap metal collector. Xiao Chen said impatiently, hurry up and give me the money. Otherwise, I won't be polite. Huh? You're pretty cool, kid. Do you know who I am? The bald man looked at Xiao Chen with some surprise. He didn't know where this kid got his confidence from. He even dared to ask for money in front of them. So what if he bumped into him? In the past, every time there was a car crash, he was the one asking for money from others. Did you hit your head on the head? How dare you ask me who you are? How would I know who you are? Xiao Chen curled his lips. Xiao Chang, forget it. Isn't our car fine? Let's go, don't waste time. Su Chuxia saw that Xiao Chen was about to get into a fight again and quickly tried to stop him. She was not afraid that Xiao Chen would be at a disadvantage. She was afraid that the big man would be beaten to death by Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen dared to kick someone from the top of a building, and he dared to throw someone off a moving bus. He did it in a way that completely disregarded the consequences. If something really happened here, would she still want to go up the mountain? Oh, if that's the case, then forget it. I'll let you go. Xiao Chen looked at the bald man with some mockery. You're driving a Land Rover, and yet you're so poor. Did you borrow a car? Wait, kid, don't go. Seeing that Xiao Chen wanted to leave, how could the big man agree? He didn't even have a car. Although he was the one who crashed it, he still had to find someone to blame, right? Scram to the side. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. I don't want to waste time with you. You're so troublesome. With a kick, Xiao Chen sent the bald man flying. He landed in the bushes dozens of meters away. The 2 underlings were dumbfounded. The mistress in the Land Rover also screamed. Is he still human? He's a martial arts master. He sent someone dozens of meters away with one kick? Big brother. The two underlings quickly went to the bushes to look for the bald man. They did not dare to talk to Xiao Chen. On Xiao Chen's side, he directly brought Tian Suruan and Su Chuxia up the mountain. In the end, they still fought. Su Chuxia sighed. This guy was much more ferocious than Xiao Meng. Xiao Meng was always enduring, but this Xiao Chang was good. He never tolerated. There was still a long way to go from here to Tianqing Monastery. Although it seemed very close from the foot of the mountain, it was actually extremely difficult to walk. Su Chuxia had walked before, so she knew how difficult it was. She gritted her teeth and persevered. However, Tian Suruan could not take it anymore. She hadn't even walked halfway when she started screaming. Why isn't there a cable car or something? Chuxia, what kind of crappy place did you find? It's not fun at all. I can't take it anymore. 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 Even though Tian Sour was usually lively and active, and she often went to the gym, she only stopped to rest. She really couldn't take it anymore when she had to climb the stairs with real weapons. Suruan, grit your teeth and go up in one go. Look at the others. That fat guy who looks like a fish over there, isn't he climbing up bit by bit? Su Chuxia pointed not far away. A chubby otaku was gritting his teeth and walking up. He was holding a phone in his hand and typing as he walked. F***ck, is this person a web novelist? He's typing while walking. He's really professional. Tian Suruan glanced at him and said dejectedly, Sister Suruan really can't take it anymore. Let's rest for a while. However, Su Chuxia frowned. If she were to rest, the more she rested, the more discouraged she would be. Many people directly went down the mountain after resting halfway. They did not want to go up anymore because they did not want to climb anymore once they got lazy. Suruan, I'll hold you. Su Chuxia said. Okay. Tian Suruan was held by Su Chuxia. She reluctantly continued to climb up. After a few more steps, she finally could not take it anymore. She squatted on the ground and panted heavily. Sister Suruan really can't take it anymore. I'm going to die if I keep climbing. Su Chuxia had no choice but to stop and say, then let's rest for a while. But if we get there too late, we won't be able to see Taoist Luli. We have to do this again tomorrow. No, I won't come again even if you beat me to death. Tian Suruan quickly shook her head. Xiao Chen did not mind. This was nothing to him. It was not a problem for him to run a few laps back and forth. If they wanted to rest, they could rest. Xiao Chen leaned against the stone steps and looked at the scenery. After resting for a while, Su Chuxia looked at the time and said, Suruan, it's about time. We should go. Huh? So fast? I haven't rested enough. Tian Suruan felt like she had only sat down for a few minutes. Suruan, do your best. You'll make it up. Su Chuxia encouraged her. I really can't. Tian Suruan said weakly. Xiao Chang, why don't you stay here with her? I'll go up myself. Su Chuxia hesitated and said. Then I'll go up with you. Suruan can stay here by herself. Xiao Chen naturally could not leave Su Chuxia behind. Su Chuxia was the target that he wanted to protect. I'm afraid that the group of people from before will harm Suruan if they see her here. If you stay here and intercept them, I won't be in any danger if I go up. Su Chuxia voiced her thoughts. Sai, why don't we do this? Xiao Chang, come over and squat down. Sister Suruan will let you take advantage of her. You can carry Sister Suruan up. Tian Suruan saw that Xiao Chen's face was not red and his heart was not beating fast, so she thought of a good idea. Me? Xiao Chen pointed at himself and smiled bitterly. It's not easy to take advantage of me, right? I'm done. You can't rely on me. I'm here to chase after Su Wuxia. I can't. Wuxia and I are good sisters. Why would I cheat you? Tian Suruan said, I'm dying of exhaustion. I don't want to stay here alone. You can carry her. You can chase after Wuxia, and you can still get intimate with Sister Suruan. It's quite satisfying. Xiaofan looked at Su Wuxia to see what she had to say. After all, she knew that he was protecting her. Then. Xiaochang, you carry her. Suruan, behave yourself. Don't move around. After Su Wuxia finished speaking, she looked at Xiaochen and said, behave yourself too. Don't try to take advantage of her. Xiaochen squatted down, and Tian Suruan laid limply on his body. She did not move at all. Clearly, she was too tired. Resting for a while was completely useless. Tian Suruan's body was very light. When Xiaochen stood up, he did not feel much weight at all. However, when Xiaochen's hand touched the black stockings under her miniskirt, he did not know why, but he thought of the scene he saw through the binoculars last night. It made Xiaochen's imagination run wild. Xiaochen gritted his teeth and threw these messy thoughts to the back of his mind. Then, he said, let's go up the mountain. Su Wuxia looked at Xiaochen and Tian Suruan, then walked up the mountain. What Xiaochen did not expect was that Su Wuxia's endurance was so amazing. She walked up the mountain in one breath. It was hard to imagine that this girl had such great perseverance. Tian Suruan lay on Xiaochen's body and did not move at all. Although her chest was pressed against Xiaochen's back, if she did not move, it was difficult for Xiaochen to feel anything. Of course, Xiaochen did not deliberately think of any dirty things. They arrived at the entrance of Tianqing Temple. Xiaochen said, Suruan, we're here. However, there was no movement behind him. Xiaochen looked back and realized that Tian Suruan had fallen asleep on his shoulder. This made Xiaochen a little dumbfounded. He quickly reached out and pushed her. Hey, Suruan. Su Wuxia was also a little surprised. She did not expect Tian Suruan to fall asleep. This wretched girl, Suruan, wake up, it's time for a feast. Feast? Where is it? Tian Suruan opened her eyes immediately and looked around in confusion. The feast is in your dreams. Su Wuxia said angrily. We're already here, and you actually fell asleep. Hurry up and get up. We're here. Tian Suruan jumped down from Xiaochen's body. However, she did not tell Xiaochen beforehand. Xiaochen was still holding onto her legs. As she jumped down, Xiaochen's hands accidentally poked under Tian Suruan's skirt. Chapter 546. Tian Suruan screamed. She felt as if she had been poked by something. It was so painful that tears almost flowed down her face. It hurts. It hurts so much. It hurts so much, Sister Suruan. Xiaochen was instantly very embarrassed. He did not expect such an accident to happen. He also felt as if he had poked something wrong. He immediately let go of his hands, and Tian Suruan immediately squatted on the ground. From the corner of his eye, he saw that there was blood on the tip of his finger. Xiaochen was shocked. Why was there blood? Su Wuxia's eyes were sharp. She suddenly saw Xiaochen's bloody finger. Her expression suddenly changed, and she looked at Tian Suruan. Suruan, you're hurt? Hurt? Tian Suruan felt as if she had been poked by Xiaochen, but she did not think too much about it. After hearing Su Wuxia's words, she subconsciously raised her head and saw Xiaochen's bloody finger. Tian Suruan's expression suddenly changed. She thought of something and immediately reached under her skirt to touch it. What she saw was a smear of red. Hence, Tian Suruan was dumbfounded. She stared blankly at the blood on her hand, not knowing what to do. Su Chuxia was also scared out of her wits. Sour, what happened to you? I think I've been poked. Tian Sour's expression was very ugly. She spoke with a sobbing tone. Xiao Chang seems to have poked in, ah. Su Chuxia was slightly stunned, but she immediately understood what Tian Sour meant. Her expression also became very ugly. It couldn't be. How could something like this happen? Although in many cases, some girls who like to exercise might tear it, it was a different concept from being poked by someone's hand. However, Su Chuxia could not blame Xiao Chen for this. She frowned and did not know what to say. Xiao Chen was also a little dumbfounded. From Tian Souri's words and the current situation, he seemed to have done something irreparable. It was an inexplicable accident, and he was even implicated. However, at this time, Xiao Chen really didn't know what to say. This matter couldn't be blamed on him, but if he said that he wasn't responsible, then he would be evading responsibility. He wasn't that kind of person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have accepted Lu Shuangshuang. Therefore, at this time, Xiao Chen could only stay silent and look at Tian Saorong awkwardly. Chuxia, help me to the washroom. Tian Suruan quickly said to Su Chuxia when he saw that there was a washroom not far away. Oh, okay. Su Chuxia quickly helped Tian Suruan up and limped to the washroom nearby. As Xiao Chen watched the two of them disappear, he couldn't help but sigh. Accidents always appeared suddenly, but they couldn't be avoided. Tian Suruan entered the washroom and hurriedly entered the cubicle. Su Chuxia anxiously walked around outside. She wanted to follow in, but the cubicle was too small. After Tian Suruan squatted down, there was no space. After waiting for a while, Tian Suruan didn't move. Su Chuxia quickly asked, Suruan, how is it? I'm fine. It's just a little hard to observe. Luckily, Sister Suruan put a mask on her phone. Tian Suruan said. What's the result? Su Chuxia asked, how is it? Xiao Chang really? No, I'm on my period. Tian Souring chuckled and became happy all of a sudden. Gosh. You scared me to death. Su Chuxia slapped her forehead and was a little speechless. Then, you're fine. But it still hurts after being poked by him. So, Sister Suruan decided not to let him go so easily. Tian Suruan said, when we go out later, let's tell him that I was exposed by him. Then, let him compensate me. Su Chuxia was stunned and immediately said, but this isn't very good, right? What's not good about it? No matter what, Sister Suruan was poked by him. Although it didn't break, it still hurts. Tian Suruan shook her head and said, moreover, I was touched. Then. You should know when to stop. Don't go too far. Su Chuxia thought about it and nodded. Anyway, Xiao Chen's pursuit of her was fake. She was forced to agree to his request to protect her. Now, it was normal for her to play a little trick on him. And then you have to cooperate with me. Tian Suruan said with a smile. Okay. Su Chuxia replied. How do I cooperate? Help me out. Tian Suruan said as she leaned on Su Chuxia's body. The two of them walked out of the bathroom together. However, in an instant, Tian Suruan became limping. There was a look of pain on her face. In fact, it was really a little painful because her stomach hurt. Su Chuxia glanced at Tian Suruan beside her and smiled bitterly in her heart. She was really good at pretending. This time, Xiao Chang was unlucky and had to take full responsibility. Xiao Chen was actually not at ease outside. He kept thinking about Tian Suruan inside. It wasn't a big deal that she was exposed. The most important thing was that Xiao Chen was afraid that it would cause a problem. After all, that 1-inch force might cause a lot of bleeding. That wouldn't be good. Suruan, how are you? When Xiaochen saw them coming out, he quickly greeted them. However, when he saw Tian Suruan limping, his heart sank. Is it that serious? Xiao Chang. What do you think we should do? Sister Suruan was exposed by you. This time, it's over. How can I find a boyfriend in the future? Tian Suruan limped in front of Xiaochen and asked sternly. This. After Xiaochen heard this, he also had a headache. This matter was really difficult to distinguish between right and wrong. To be honest, Tian Suruan accidentally jumped down and then she broke it herself. However, he couldn't say that. If he said that, wouldn't he be looking for trouble? Therefore, Xiaochen could only bite the bullet and say, Suruan, what do you think we should do? Sister Suruan won't let you take responsibility. If I let you take responsibility, you will definitely not be convinced because your goal is Su Chuxia. I'm not that bad to force you to change your goal. Besides, Sister Suruan really doesn't like you. Although you have some money, you are far from Sister Suruan's expectations. When Tian Suruan said this, she paused and then continued, however, I can't just let it go. After all, you made me like this. Who knows, it might affect me finding a boyfriend in the future. And then? When Xiaochen heard Tian Suruan's words, he thought that she was going to let it go. However, he didn't expect her words to change. It wasn't the case at all. Before Sister Suruan finds a boyfriend, you have to do it for me. Tian Suruan said. Do it for me? Xiaochen's expression was a little strange. What do you mean? Flirting? Get lost. Tian Suruan said angrily, it means that you have to take care of me like my boyfriend. You have to grant my requests. You have to do whatever I say. Whatever I want, you have to try your best to satisfy it. Do you hear me? However, don't think that you can take advantage of me like this. No way. So, you want me to be your servant? Xiaochen shook his head, but in his heart, he thought about the young mistress. He wondered if she was doing well. Without him around, what were they eating every day? There was also Jin Beibei, Yi Xiaoya, the spiritual herbs in the villa's yard, and that weird dog. What? You've already made Sister Suruan like this. Sister Suruan didn't ask you to take responsibility, but you still don't want to? Tian Suruan glared at Xiaochen. All right. Xiaochen nodded. Actually, it didn't matter whether he agreed or not. He was doing the same thing now. In order to pursue Su Chuxia, he had to pretend to please Tian Suruan. Then it's settled, Tian Suruan said. Now, what are we going to do? I want to find Taoist Luli to ask for medicine. Why don't we go and ask for medicine first? Su Chuxia looked at the time on her watch. If she didn't hurry up, she would have wasted her trip today. I have no objections. What about you, Suruan? Xiaochen looked at Tian Suruan. Then let's go. Tian Suruan was just about to leave when she remembered that she was pretending to be a cripple. Therefore, she said, Xiaochang, continue to carry me. I can't walk. Actually, her stomach was hurting. Her period was here, and she was exhausted from climbing the mountain, so it hurt even more. Anyway, now that she had Xiaochang as a laborer, she naturally didn't want to walk anymore. All right. Xiaochen squatted down, and Tian Suruan laid on top of him again. Su Chuxia shook her head and walked in front. The three of them arrived at the entrance of the Taoist temple. At this time, there were already many people lining up. Xiaochen didn't expect a Taoist temple to have so many people. The Heavenly Purity Temple was incomparably majestic. The high walls at the entrance pierced through the clouds. It had the charm of the celestial Taoist temples in the TV series Journey to the West. Right in front of the Heavenly Purity Temple was a large pool called the Body Purification Pool. Xiaofan took a look. The so-called Body Purification Pool was just a place where people took out their money and threw it into a box beside the large pool to wash away the smell of money on their bodies. Therefore, the smell of money would run into the pockets of the Taoist temple. Xiaofan didn't think much of this way of earning money. However, Su Chuxia was very sincere. She put 300 yuan into the box. It wasn't much, but it wasn't little either. Some people even put in tens of thousands. Tian Suruan looked at the money and felt a little heartache. 300 yuan. We can eat a buffet hotpot. What a pity. Su Chuxia frowned and glared at her. Why do you only know how to eat? Why don't you eat until you die? Sigh. Tian Suruan looked at the 300 yuan reluctantly. Xiaochang, I want that 300 yuan. Oh. Xiaochang casually waved his hand and set up an illusion. The 300 yuan was in his hand, and no one noticed anything. Xiaochang casually stuffed the 300 yuan into Tian Suruan's hand. Tian Suruan was shocked when she felt Xiaochang touch her hand. She thought that Xiaochang wanted to take advantage of her, but she realized that something was stuffed into her hand. Tian Suruan was stunned. She raised her hand and saw that it was 300 yuan. Chapter 547. Tian Wangshuo was stunned. She looked at the box again. The 300 yuan that Su Chuxia had just put in was gone. Although there was a lot of money in the box, because Tian Wangshuo's eyes were staring, she remembered the position of the money. However, she didn't see what Xiaochang did. In the blink of an eye, the 300 yuan was in her hands. At this time, Su Chuxia had already walked to the entrance of the Taoist temple. Before Tian Wangshuo could see clearly, she was carried away by Xiaochang. Xiaochang, how did you get it back? Tian Wangshuo reacted and asked quickly. Shu. Don't let Chuxia hear you, Xiaochang said. Su Chuxia was so devoted to this Taoist temple. If she knew that the money that she put in was taken out by him, wouldn't she fly into a rage? Tian Sour also immediately realized this point and shut her mouth. However, in her heart, she thought to herself, this Xiaochang really agrees to all requests. My decision is really wise. It feels so good to have such a person at my beck and call. Sister Sour is so smart. When they arrived at the entrance of the Taoist temple, they were stopped. Not everyone could enter the Taoist temple. There was a young Taoist priest at the entrance who was screening people to enter the Taoist temple. And his screening method was also very special. Light incense. All the tourists who wanted to enter the Taoist temple formed a long line. In front of the line was an incense burner. Next to the incense burner stood a young Taoist priest supervising the screening. Every tourist had a chance to light incense. Everyone had a match. The match was very short, only half a normal match. Everyone came up to light the incense in the incense burner. Those who lit it could enter the Taoist temple. Those who didn't light it could only leave or line up again from the back. However, there were at least 100 people in this line. Just the line alone took a while. In front of them, a bald man was lighting incense. The incense was very thick. Not to mention half a match, even 8 or 10 matches might not be able to light it. The man obviously failed to light the incense. This thing is clearly making things difficult for people. How can half a match light it? This incense is so thick. Aren't you tricking people? We donated money to the cleansing pool, but we still have to light incense. The bald man's match was about to burn his hand, but he still couldn't light it. He couldn't help but complain. Amateus Buddha, don't you see that someone has also entered the Taoist temple? The little Taoist faintly smiled and said, lighting incense is all about luck. It doesn't mean that it can't be lit. Even though the match is short, if many people light it, the residual heat on the incense won't dissipate. Naturally, it can be lit. Forget it, I'll line up again, the bald man said, a little depressed. Of course you can. Benefactor, please go to the body cleansing pool first and queue up again. After saying that, another young Taoist left with the bald man. This is really a scam? If I can't light it up, I'll have to line up again and donate money? Tian Soran said unhappily. Wuxia, did you meet a scammer? This Taoist temple looks like a place to cheat people of their money. Soran, don't talk nonsense. In fact, this is also a last resort. Otherwise, with so many people coming every day, if they could all enter the Taoist temple, it wouldn't be able to accommodate all of them, right? Su Wuxia said. Okay, but I think it's as difficult as going to heaven to light the incense. It's like a lucky draw. There are hundreds of people, and there's only one or two. Tian Soran said gloomily, if we can't light it up, do we have to line up again? Of course. Su Wuxia said. The long line in front of the line shortened bit by bit. Most people failed and left or tried again. However, there were 2 people who successfully lit the incense and successfully entered the Taoist temple. Every person who lit the incense could bring 2 friends with them. One of the successful people only had 1 friend, and the other spot was brought in by someone nearby. She didn't know what conditions he promised, but he was very happy. There were fewer and fewer people in front of the line. Finally, it was Su Wuxia's turn. Before this, many people had failed to light the incense. Su Wuxia roughly estimated that she really had a chance. If she was lucky, she might succeed on her first try. However, to her surprise, just as it was about to be her turn, the customer in front of her actually lit the incense successfully and successfully entered the Taoist temple with his friend. When it was Su Wuxia's turn, she actually got a new incense. If she wanted to light it, it was basically impossible. Su Wuxia suddenly felt very depressed. She took the match from the young Taoist and sighed. Let me do it. Xiaofan knew that it was impossible for Su Wuxia to light the incense. However, she wouldn't give up, so the end result was that a few people would have to donate money and line up again. Xiaofan naturally wouldn't waste such meaningless time, so he directly snatched the match from Su Wuxia's hand. This made Su Wuxia a little surprised, but she didn't say anything. She also wouldn't blame Xiaofan for trying to show off. Because if Xiaofan lit the incense, the result would be the same. It would be impossible to light the incense. Therefore, she let Xiaofan do it. Xiaofan took the match, lit it directly, and then went to light the incense. However, the flame on the match looked ordinary, but Xiaofan used a little samadhi true fire to light it. The result was as expected. The incense was quickly lit, and green smoke came out. At this time, Xiaofan's match was almost burnt to the end, so Xiaofan threw it away. However, this situation made the people around a little dumbfounded. The young Taoist was very puzzled. How did a match light the incense that was just changed? This was something that had never happened before. How was it possible? However, the truth was in front of him, and he had no choice but to believe it. After all, the incense really burned. The other tourists at the back were also amazed. They felt that when Xiaofan was lighting the incense, a gust of wind blew and helped him light the incense. But no matter what, Xiaofan was lucky, and many people were envious. Su Wuxia looked at everything in front of her in shock. That was it? She was already prepared to leave and start all over again. Xiaochang, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. Sister Sour Sour realized that you kind of meet Sister Sour Sour's criteria for choosing a partner, but you're a little too poor. You still have to work hard. Tian Sour said with a smile. 3 kind people, please come in. Although the young Taoist was puzzled, he still followed the rules and invited Xiaofan and the other 2 into the Taoist temple. As soon as they entered the Taoist temple, the smell of nature hit them in the face. making them feel refreshed. Tian Sour was a little surprised. Wuxia, you don't say. This Taoist temple is really something. Of course. As I said, Taoist priest Lu Li's immortal water is very useful. Wuxia nodded. The Taoist temple was refreshing and pleasant. There was no winter chill. The wind blew on their faces, and it felt like spring and autumn. The Taoist temple was decorated elegantly. The path was quiet, and there were pavilions and ancient trees. The scenery was beautiful, as if they were in a painting. They walked forward and passed through a long corridor. There was another door in front of them, and there were 2 young Taoist priests guarding the door. When they arrived here, Xiaofan and the others were also stopped. Why is there a sentry? Xiaofan was a little puzzled. Why was it more difficult to enter a Taoist temple than Wuxia's father's research institute? There was a sentry every few steps. Were they letting people in or not? There was a picture scroll at the door. On it were some crooked and irregular colored patterns. He didn't know what they were, but the young Taoist priest said, 3 kind people, tell me what you see in this picture scroll. If you're right, you can enter. What? Xiaofan was stunned. Was this a guessing game? Did they think this was a variety show? Xiaofan was a little depressed. Tian Wangshu looked at Wuxia strangely. Wuxia, was it like this when you came last time? Yes, but the test is different every year. Only this year's test seems to be especially difficult. Wuxia was also a little troubled. What was in this picture? She couldn't tell. Tian Wangshu didn't dare to be slow. Since they were already here, she obviously wouldn't be willing to go back. Therefore, she jumped down from Xiaofan's body and began to carefully observe the picture. After observing for a long time, she couldn't see anything special about it. She made a random guess. I think this is an abstract painting. It was painted by Taoist priest Lu Li, right? This painting depicts Taoist priest Lu Li's inner world. That's not right. Tian Wangshu's eloquence was only met with a heartless rejection from the young Taoist priest. He shook his head expressionlessly and said, "What about you guys? Time is limited. Answer as soon as possible." Wuxia pondered for a long time and then said carefully, "I think the colorful and various colors in the painting represent the boundless world." Actually, Wuxia had no other choice. Tian Wangshu's word, world, reminded her, so Wuxia had an idea. However, she felt that what she said was somewhat reliable. No. The young Taoist priest shook his head and denied Wuxia's words. Wuxia's face turned pale and she sighed. Where is this kind person? The young Taoist priest looked at Xiaofan and said, "It's time." Although Xiaofan was a cultivator, this thing had nothing to do with cultivators. It was not something that could be solved with special abilities. How would Xiaofan know what this painting was? He knew nothing about painting, so he couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense at this moment. He just braced himself and said, "Forgive me for being blunt, but I can't see anything. This is just a messy colorful graffiti." Yes, this kind person is an honest person. Please enter. The young Taoist priest nodded and then made a gesture to invite him in. Huh? Tian Wangshu stared at Xiaofan strangely. This was right again. How could this work? There's nothing at all. Why are you making us guess? Even if Wuxia was qualified to enter, she was still a little dissatisfied. This kind woman, the first threshold of heavenly purity temple is to purify the body and remove the stink of money from the body. The second threshold is to purify the heart. Only honest people can enter. The little Taoist explained, what this kind person said is right. There's nothing in this painting. It's just a random drawing. To be honest, we can't see anything. If we insist on spouting nonsense just to enter the door, then we're just lying. Chapter 548. Su Chuxia was speechless, and so was Tian Suruan. Xiaofan opened his mouth but didn't say anything. This was simply amazing. "All right, the three of you may enter," said the little Taoist. Su Chuxia didn't continue to struggle. After all, she had to seize the time to meet Taoist Lu Li and ask him for medicine. "Sister Suruan, why do I feel like I'm in a TV challenge program?" Tian Suruan looked around the temple curiously. "You're jumping around. Are you alright?" Xiaofan looked at Tian Suruan, who was wandering around, and asked in surprise. "Ah, it hurts again." Tian Suruan suddenly staggered. "Alright, Suruan. Stop pretending. It doesn't hurt that much. It's fine." Su Chuxia said, "Let's hurry up and pass the challenge. There's still one more challenge ahead, and it's the most difficult one." "Okay." Tian Suruan didn't dare to delay. She immediately straightened her body and walked forward quickly. Xiaofan looked at Tian Suruan strangely. "She's done. I don't need to carry her anymore." However, thinking about it, he also carried her for a while. It was normal that she was fine now. After all, it didn't seem that serious. At most, he poked her on the outside and tore it a little. There was another door in front, and there were still a few young Taoists standing guard. Xiaofan was already used to it this time. He glanced at the young Taoist, then said, "What's the test this time?" "Hee, kind people, it's not easy for all of you to come all the way here. This time, it's to verify your fate with my clear sky monastery." The little Taoist smiled faintly and said, "Three kind people, please follow me." Xiaofan nodded and didn't say much. He followed the little Taoist with Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan to a small pavilion at the side. On the other side of the pavilion, there was an exhibition wall. It was like the publicity corridor in the school, protected by a glass cover. When they got closer, there were some charms inside. "Three kind people, please take a look. There are real and fake amulets in these amulets. The three of you just need to find 2 real amulets and you can pass." The little Taoist said, "Then, I can bring you to see my master, spiritual master Lu Li. How should I look at this?" "We don't understand." Tian Suruan looked at the scribbled talismans in front of him and immediately felt a headache coming on. He didn't understand these things, nor had he studied them before. Of course, even those who had studied them might not know. This was because there were several talismans with the same pattern, and they looked almost the same on the outside. It was difficult to tell if they were real or fake. This talisman, what is real and what is fake? Su Chuxia was also confused. From her point of view, the things inside were pretty much the same. There was no difference. If it's real, then it naturally has the effect of magic power. If it's fake, then it naturally doesn't. The little Taoist explained, "Only the little Taoist's advisor can draw talismans. The others are all our imitation works. It's just that they don't have any effect." "What's the use of this talisman?" Tian Wangchuan was a little puzzled. These pieces of paper actually had the effect of magic power? Was it real or fake? This talisman is a soul-cleansing talisman. When you use it when you're drowsy, it can instantly make you full of energy. However, the time it can be used is limited. It can only be used for a quarter of an hour, the little Taoist explained. Is it real or fake? What about this? Tian Wangchuan pointed at another talisman and asked. This talisman is a fire ignition talisman. After using it, it can achieve the effect of igniting a fire, the little Taoist explained. I'm going to faint. Sister Suruan thought it was some high-end item. I can use coffee to replace the first talisman. For the second talisman, I can use a lighter. I can even use it multiple times. Good woman, you might not know this, but coffee is a liquid and can't be brought on the plane. A lighter is a dangerous item and can't be brought on the plane either. However, these two talismans can be used. The little Taoist said, "You said that it's useless. Actually, it's very useful in certain situations, isn't it?" "That's true." Tian Wangchuan nodded after listening. "Alright, good woman, since you know the use of these talismans, then quickly identify them," the little Taoist reminded. This. Su Chuxia was a little hesitant. She didn't dare to simply identify it. Tian Wangchuan pointed at a talisman and said, "This is real, right?" "I'm sorry, good woman. This is fake." "You only have 2 more chances," the little Taoist said. "Hey. I didn't ask you. I was really talking to Xiao Chang. I was asking my companion. How can you say that I'm wasting a chance?" Tian Wangchuan immediately said when he saw that he had admitted his mistake. "Of course, it's a chance." The little Taoist didn't explain much. He just smiled and didn't give any room for negotiation. "Alright, let me take a look." Xiao Chen waved his hand and signaled Su Chuxia and Tian Wangchuan not to say anything. He wanted to let him make the decision. Although Su Chuxia didn't know where Xiao Chen got his confidence from, Xiao Chen had passed the previous few rounds. Therefore, since Xiao Chen wanted to try this round, she naturally let him do it. "Elder Heaven Ancestor, didn't you say that cultivators can create talismans? Is it similar to this?" Xiao Chen asked in his heart. "That's definitely different," the Elder Heaven Ancestor said. "Huh?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "I thought you could identify them, these are all trash." "What's there to identify?" "In my opinion, they're all trash." The Elder Heaven Ancestor said disdainfully, "What kind of trash is this? You want to stay awake for 15 minutes and light a fire? What's the point of creating these things? Are you crazy? There are so many substitutes. Why do you still need to create talismans?" You mean you know these talismans?" Xiao Chen was shocked and then heaved a sigh of relief. "Yes, the first row and the third one are real. The second row and the fifth one are real. I can't be bothered to look at the rest," the Elder Heaven Ancestor said directly. "Then I'll choose 2 randomly." As Xiao Chen said this, he raised his hand and tapped the 2 talismans that the Elder Heaven Ancestor mentioned twice. "Huh?" The young Taoist was very surprised. This year, because Taoist Luli was gathering investments everywhere, he rarely stayed in the temple. Therefore, in order to keep most people outside, he set up these very difficult tests. It was still possible to pass the first and second tests, but it was very rare to pass the third test. After all, it was difficult for laymen to identify these talismans. It was possible to guess correctly for 1, but it was impossible to guess correctly for 2. Xiao Chen looked at the stunned young Taoist and gently coughed twice to remind him, "This Taoist. Am I right?" "You're right." The young Taoist came back to his senses and nodded. "This poor Taoist's Dharma name is Mo Ri. 3 kind people, please follow me to meet my master, Taoist Lu Li." "Doomsday? Your Dharma name is really unique," Xiao Chen said in surprise. "Taoist 2012, how many people can see Taoist Lu Li? This poor Taoist's name is Mo Ri, not 2012. The young Taoist was a little puzzled. "This month, you're the first to see Taoist Lu Li. Oh, isn't the Doomsday 2012? Xiao Chen laughed dryly. "I just said it casually, sorry." "Alright, 3 kind people, please." The young Taoist made an inviting gesture. "The Dharma name is just a title. Kind people can call themselves whatever they want, there's no need to be restricted." The 3 of them entered the last door. It was a very spacious courtyard, and there was a very grand hall in front of them. Under the guidance of the young Taoist, the 3 of them entered the hall. As they walked to the back, they saw an old man with white hair and a youthful face already sitting there waiting. Presumably, he was Taoist Luli. This Taoist Luli has a sage-like demeanor. Tian Wangshuo said when he saw the old Taoist in front of him. Wangshuo, he's not Taoist Luli, Su Chuxia quickly said. Ba. However, the old Taoist said loudly, this poor Taoist is not Taoist Luli. This poor Taoist is Taoist Luli's disciple, Emoji. Pfft. Tian Wangshuo almost burst out laughing. He's called Doomsday, and you're called Emoji. This name of yours is really awesome. The master who can come up with this name is not an ordinary person. How many brain cells must have been wasted to come up with this? Wangshuo, don't talk nonsense. Su Chuxia glared at Tian Wangshuo. It's okay. The old Taoist smiled like the young Taoist. It's just a title. 3 kind people, please come this way. Under the guidance of Taoist Emoji, the 3 of them walked into a small room at the side. Inside, on a cattail hassock, sat a person who looked like he was only in his 20s. 3 kind people, this is my master, Taoist Luli. Taoist Emoji said. Xiao Chen and Tian Wangshuo were stunned. Wasn't this a little too young? This person looked like he was only in his 20s. How was he Taoist Luli? Or was he the old Taoist's master? However, Su Chuxia had obviously seen Taoist Luli before, so there was nothing strange about it this time. She just walked forward and said respectfully, Taoist Luli, I remember you. You came here last year for the immortal water, right? To treat your grandmother's rheumatism. Taoist Luli opened his eyes and looked at Su Chuxia. Yes, Taoist Luli. Su Chuxia was a little happy. She did not expect Taoist Luli to recognize her immediately and remember her. This surprised her. Okay, Moj, go and get the immortal water, Taoist Luli instructed the old Taoist. Yes, master. The old Taoist turned and left. Soon, he returned with a small bottle in his hand, which he handed to Taoist Luli. Taoist Luli nodded, then made a few hand seals in front of the bottle. Finally, he handed it to Su Chuxia and said, it's done. When you go back, just rub it on the affected area. Thank you, Taoist Luli. Su Chuxia quickly thanked him in surprise. Well, the other 2 kind people, why did you come to see me? Taoist Luli smiled at Xiao Chen and Tian Wangshuo. Is there any immortal water that can make Sister Wangshuo more beautiful, sexier, and more charming? Tian Wangshuo asked. Chapter 549. You're already very beautiful, sexy, and charming. You don't need the immortal water. Taoist Luli smiled. Spiritual Master Luli, can you give me some paper and cinnabar for drawing talismans? Xiao Chen asked. This was what the elder heaven ancestor had told him before. He asked him to bring some back to experiment with talisman making. Although talisman making should be something that could only be done after one reached the foundation establishment realm, it did not include these simple talismans. Therefore, he planned to let Xiao Chen go back and practice first. Oh. Spiritual Master Luli looked at Xiao Chen with some confusion. What do you want this for? Oh, the house I live in is haunted. I followed the instructions of the online professor and drew a few talismans to ward off evil spirits, Xiao Chen said casually. Of course you can, but most of the talismans on the internet are useless, Taoist Luli said. Of course, if you insist, I can give you Moj. Yes, master. Moj nodded and turned to get these things. Soon, he returned with some paper for drawing talismans and some cinnabar. He handed them to Xiao Chen and said, good person, here they are. Thank you. Xiao Chen put these things away. Tian Wangshuo did not know what she wanted. After thinking about it, she said, that immortal water, give me another portion. She did not need these things herself, so she might as well help Su Chuxia get another portion. That way, Su Chuxia would not have to come back for more after using it. Do you want to keep it for next year? Daoist Lu Li asked. Yes. Tian Wangshou nodded. It's too difficult to get in here. If it weren't for our luck, we wouldn't have been able to get in at all. Therefore, since we can come this time, we'll get it for next year as well. That's a little difficult. This immortal water can only be kept for half a year. Daoist Lu Li said, however, I can seal it with wax. After you go back, you can put it in the freezer. It can be used for a year, but I can't guarantee it. That's fine. Tian Wangshou nodded. Thank you very much. Daoist Lu Li nodded and asked Mo Ji to prepare it. After Mo Ji was done, Daoist Lu Li also imprinted his handprint on it. Then, he asked someone to seal it with wax and gave it to Tian Souring. Elder Heaven Ancestor, what is that handprint? Xiaofan asked, why is it so strange? Hand seals are also a type of magic. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said. But it's a bit complicated. It involves some spell formations, which I don't really understand. But I can understand the simple stuff. Oh. It turns out to be an array formation. Then what does the handprint of Taoist Lu Li mean? Xiaofan nodded and asked. That handprint is actually a kind of handprint that maximizes the effect of the bottle of medicinal liquid. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said, that immortal water is actually a bottle of medicine for bruises. It is effective for bruises and rheumatism. But normally, because this kind of medicine is applied externally, the effect is not very obvious. After all, it needs to penetrate the skin. But his handprint can maximize the activation of the medicinal liquid. Then, it can be applied to the body to exert a better effect. There's nothing magical about it. The words of the Elder Heaven Ancestor surprised Xiaofan. He was not shocked that Daoist Lu Li used the bruises and injuries medicine to imitate the immortal water, but... Is this Daoist Lu Li also a cultivator? Otherwise, how could he have these things? He drew talismans and made handprints. Elder Heaven Ancestor, is this Daoist Lu Li a cultivator? Xiaofan was a little surprised. You can say yes, but you can also say no. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said, Daoist cultivation is actually cultivation. It's just that in recent years, it has declined. I haven't heard of any Daoist school that has truly succeeded in cultivation. However, the remnants of them can't be underestimated. After all, the foundation is there. It's just that many people don't know how to cultivate. After all, there are only mental cultivation methods without guidance. It's very likely that blindly cultivating them will cause problems. The Elder Heaven Ancestor said, for example, some mental cultivation methods are obviously very powerful, but when cultivated by people who don't understand them, they become trash. There are also some mental cultivation methods that are obviously awe-inspiring, but people cultivate them into evil mental cultivation methods. There are also mental cultivation methods that are obviously righteous, but some people cultivate them in the opposite direction. Xiaofan was a little depressed. Why did they talk about him? Now that Su Chuxia's original intention had been achieved, she was ready to leave. However, to her surprise, Taoist Lu Li stood up and said to the crowd, "This kind man, I see that you have some knowledge about talisman drawing, so I want to discuss it with you. What do you think?" Discuss? Discuss my A*S? Are you suspecting me? Xiaofan sneered in his heart. Just now, he saw Mo Ri give Daoist Lu Li a look. Although he didn't know what it meant, he could roughly guess it. Mo Ri was probably telling Daoist Lu Li that he had quickly identified the two real talismans. Then, seeing that he had asked for talisman paper and cinnabar, he was curious and wanted to ask him to stay to find out what was going on. It's getting late. We still have to go back. The journey is long, and we have to travel through the night. If we delay any longer, we won't be able to go back. Xiao Chen smiled and said, "Thank you, perfected Lu Li, for your kindness. Isn't the good woman's home in Lan City? Why do we have to travel through the night?" Daoist Lu Li asked curiously. Xiao Chen turned to look at Su Chuxia in confusion. "I said it last year." Su Chuxia was a little embarrassed, but she said to Xiao Chen, "Xiao Chang, since perfected Lu Li has invited you, you can stay here." As she said that, Su Chuxia winked at Xiao Chen, implying that he should build a good relationship with perfected Lu Li. Next time, he could directly come in and there would be no need to challenge the barrier. "Okay, then I'll sit for a while." Xiao Chen said shamelessly, "I suddenly remembered that we drove here." "Yes." Perfected Lu Li smiled. "Amateus Buddha, the good man, please take a seat. Mo Ji, bring the two good women to visit the Taoist temple." "Yes, master." Mo and Mo Ji answered, then said to Su Chuxia and Tian Wangchuan, "Good people, please follow me." Su Chuxia pulled Tian Suruan along and left with Mo and the rest. Xiao Chen, on the other hand, sat opposite perfected Dear Li. He didn't say a word, and neither did Xiao Chen. They sat leisurely, and no one knew what they were thinking. "What's the good man's name?" Perfected Lu Li asked. "The name is just a title. It doesn't matter. You can call me the good man." Xiao Chen directly returned the words of perfected Lu Li's disciple to perfected Lu Li. Perfected Lu Li was stunned, but he could not refute it. He could only smile. The good man is right. I wonder what's the relationship between the good man and the two good women? Why don't you guess? Xiao Chen smiled. I can't guess. Perfected Lu Li shook his head. Then congratulations, you failed to pass the barrier. Xiao Chen said, if you can't guess, you can't continue chatting with me. Huh. Perfected Lu Li suddenly laughed. You're mocking the rules of my Taoist temple, aren't you? Since you already know, why did you ask? Xiao Chen smiled. You're really shameless. Otherwise, my master is in seclusion all year round. The entire Taoist temple is basically run by me. Perfected Lu Li said, good man, you should have seen that the Tianqing temple is grand on the surface, but in fact, it is dilapidated and decayed on the inside. Many buildings need to be repaired, otherwise, there will be danger. However, the incense money near the door is nothing at all. You're so magical. So many people are begging you to treat them. Why don't you charge more? 10,000 for each person at the door is enough for you to build another Taoist temple. Xiao Chen said. If I really charge that much money, they might not come. Perfected Lu Li smiled. My potions here are magical, but they aren't that valuable. If it's really that expensive, I'm afraid most people won't come. Only a few rich people will come. So, I've been running around to attract investments. It seems that you're not stupid. Xiao Chen said, all right, don't beat around the bush. Old Taoist, why are you looking for me? Good man, I think the relationship between you and the two good women is a bit strange. Between the two of them, who is your girlfriend? Or is it your goal? Asked Daoist Lu Li. Why are you so gossipy? Why are you asking about these things? Xiao Chen was a little puzzled. Taoist priests can marry, unlike monks. Daoist Lu Li smiled. So, it's not a bad idea to ask about it. I'm not telling you. Xiao Chen said directly, is there anything else? If not, I'm leaving. Hehe, good people also know our Taoist magic arts? Do you have research on talisman making? Asked Daoist Lu Li. Obviously, you don't want those talisman making things just to ward off evil spirits, right? Otherwise, wouldn't it be better for you to get some peachwood swords? Can we not beat around the bush? Say what you want to say. If there's nothing else, I'm leaving. I still have to pick up girls. Why are you dawdling? Are you playing with me? Are you just trying to get information out of me? Xiao Chen said somewhat impatiently. Huh, good people are really different. Taoist Lu Li said with a smile, actually, it's nothing. I just want to ask good people, how much do you know about talisman drawing? I know a thing or two. Not much. I'm a beginner, said Xiao Chen. Taoist Lu Li nodded. Seeing that he couldn't get anything out of him, he gave up and said, in the future, if good people want to find me to study talisman making, you can contact me at any time. My cell phone number is 170x. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Taoist priests also use cell phones? Monks also use pan ting. Taoist Lu Li smiled. Noted down. Is there anything else? Asked Xiao Chen. If that good woman wants to go with you, you can also find me. I can open a back door for you, said Taoist Lu Li. Chapter 550. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. Xiao Chen stood up and turned to leave. Take care, philanthropist. Spiritual Master Lu Li looked at Xiao Chen's back as he left. His eyes flashed with doubt. Where did this person come from? Su Chuxia didn't have such a person with her. If this person was Su Chuxia's pursuer, why would he accompany her here? Over the past few days, Spiritual Master Lu Li had studied Su Chuxia's information and realized that she wouldn't hang out with boys. Could he be Su Chuxia's protector? Thinking of this, Spiritual Master Lu Li felt that things were getting tricky. Xiao Chen was unfathomable. No matter what he asked, he wouldn't be able to answer. After going around in circles, he didn't get any useful information. After Xiao Chen went out, he saw Su Chuxia and Tian Souring wandering around nearby. He waved at them, and the two of them came over. You're done. Let's go then. Sister Souring is starving. I don't have any energy left. Tian Souring walked over and said to Xiao Chen, Xiao Chang, carry me on your back. Sister Souring is hurting again. All right. Xiao Chen didn't refuse. However, this scene was seen by Spiritual Master Lu Li. He immediately felt relieved. It turned out that this kid was with Tian Souring. That made things easier. Looking at their intimate actions, they should be a couple. Since it had nothing to do with Su Chuxia, it didn't matter. It was fine as long as Xiao Chang didn't ruin their good plans. It was obvious that Xiao Chang had some understanding of Taoism. Xiao Chen carried Tian Souring and left Tianqing Monastery with Su Chuxia. They were about to go down the mountain when Spiritual Master Lu Li waved his hand. The disciple named Mo Ji immediately came forward. Master, do you have any instructions? Mo Ji asked. Follow these three secretly. It's best to find out what their relationship is, Spiritual Master Lu Li said. Yes, do I need to follow them and see where they live? Mo Ji nodded and asked. There's no need for that. I've already made preparations. You don't have to follow me. Don't expose yourself. Just take a look around the vicinity of Azure Mountain. Taoist dearly thought for a while and said, that person called Xiao Chang is not simple. I understand, Master. Don't worry. Mo Ji nodded and left quickly. It was already dinner time. The few of them hadn't eaten anything in the afternoon. They had rushed here in fear that they wouldn't make it in time. Now that they were done, Tian Sour was hungry. Chuxia, let's go get something to eat. Sister Sour is starving. Eat, eat, eat. All you know is to eat. Su Chuxia was in a hurry to go home and give the immortal water to Grandma. However, after hearing what Tian Suruan said, she was a little hungry. Xiao Chang, what do you think? Then let's eat before we leave. Xiao Chen looked at the time and said, an hour and a half won't make a difference. Besides, your grandma's leg doesn't have to be so troublesome. I know a little about medicine. When the time comes, I will go and take a look at her. Maybe it will be better than that Taoist luli, really? Su Chuxia was a little surprised. What do you think? As Xiao Chen said this, he suddenly frowned and turned around. He saw a figure flash by. That person was very vigilant and fast. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. Xiao Chen didn't see him clearly. However, this situation shocked him. Could it be that someone wanted to harm Su Chuxia? However, their actions in Azure Mountain were random. Those who wanted to harm Su Chuxia definitely didn't know about it. When they came here, they drove all the way. Xiao Chen never felt anyone following them, so the possibility of someone following them was almost zero. Xiao Chen's six senses were still very sharp. Under his deliberate sensing, no one should be able to escape. Unless this person was very powerful. However, if that was the case, it would be completely useless for him to protect Su Chuxia. If that person came looking for trouble, he probably wouldn't be a match for them. Since he couldn't see anything wrong, Xiao Chen could only give up. Just as he was about to turn around, Su Chuxia said, "Xiao Chang, what are you looking at?" "Nothing. I'm looking around to see if there's a place to eat nearby." Xiao Chen said. "There is." Sister Saori looked just now. "There's a Sky Azure house over there. It's probably related to Sky Azure Temple, right? It should be the food that the Taoists usually eat. Why don't we go there?" Tian Saori pointed not far away and said. "Sure." Xiao Chen didn't mind. Su Chuxia didn't say anything. The three of them walked in that direction. However, before they could take 2 steps, a group of people suddenly walked toward them. Su Chuxia and Tian Saori's faces suddenly changed. Because they knew a few of the people in this group. It was the Baldy and his 2 underlings that they met in the parking lot in the Land Rover. "Hee, kid, we meet again. What a coincidence." The Baldy looked at Xiao Chen and sneered sinisterly. The group of people behind him immediately came over and surrounded Xiao Chen and the other 2. "You. What do you want?" Tian Saori was a little afraid. However, she immediately remembered that Xiao Chen could take on a few people at school. These people shouldn't be a problem. Therefore, she regained her confidence. "Hey, Sister Saori, let me tell you. This is my boyfriend, Xiao Chang. You can tell how strong he is just by hearing his name. You people are nothing to him. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and move aside. Otherwise, you'll be asking for trouble." Although Tian Saori said that, she didn't have much confidence because the number of people today was double that of the day in school. Moreover, these people looked like real gangsters at first glance. Although the people Kai Wuliang found were all martial artists, they didn't look as ferocious as these people. "Ha! So it's a cockroach that can't be killed? That's a good name. But girl, don't joke around. Do you think I'm afraid just because you said some harsh words?" The Baldy sneered and glared at her. "If he was so powerful, would you still need to say such harsh words here? Wouldn't you have made a move long ago? Let's not talk about these useless things. In short, my car is newly bought. If you give me 5 million, I'll forget about this. I'll sell my car to you. If you don't have it, then you'll have to think of a way to pay for my medical expenses." At this moment, before Xiao Chen and Tian Wangshou could say anything, a man wearing a golden chain behind the Baldy, who looked rather imposing, said indifferently, "Baldy, this is the lad? He even sent you flying with a kick? Did you not have breakfast this morning? Why are you forcing them? If you want them to pay, then just beat them up. When the time comes, won't they obediently hand over the money? What's the use of talking big? This. Boss, I was thinking that this is Heavenly Purity Monastery and it's not a good place to fight. If we offend those Taoists, it won't be fun. They are skilled. The Baldy said quickly. If that's the case, kid, do you want to pay or die? Choose one. The man with the golden chain nodded and took out a cigarette. Then, he glanced at Xiaofan and said, my patience is limited. If you don't want to pay, I can only send you to the hospital. Everyone, listen up. If this kid doesn't make a choice in 3 minutes, then you guys will fight him at the back. Not here. Heavenly Purity Monastery still needs to be avoided. Brother Jean, don't worry. We definitely won't kill him. The Baldy smiled and responded quickly. However, Xiaofan, who was standing on the side, was obviously a little impatient. Isn't 3 minutes a little long? AI? Brother Jean, he said 3 minutes is too long. The Baldy was suddenly happy. He thought that Xiaofan was going to give in. Then, you want to pay now? Pay your mother's balls. Are the few of you going on and on about it? If you want to fight, then hurry up. We still have to go eat. Xiaofan waved his hand and said. Iya, F***ck. This kid is quite arrogant. Brother Jean was also annoyed after hearing it. He just sneered and blew out a smoke ring leisurely. Then, he shouted, go, beat him up. Don't kill him. Wait. Xiaofan looked at the few people who were about to rush up and suddenly shouted. Huh. Why, kid, are you afraid? Are you going to give in? Brother Jean was suddenly amused. This kid is really interesting. He pretended to be bad *SS before, but when it comes to a real fight, he can't. Oh, you misunderstood. I usually have to pay an appearance fee when I fight. I don't fight for free. If you lose later, you have to pay me. Xiaofan really wasn't talking nonsense. Whether it was underground boxing or racing, he got a lot of appearance fees. Brother Jean was stunned, and then his face changed. He spat out the cigarette and scolded, I changed my mind. Beat him to death. Yes. He. The Baldy accepted the order and waved his hand. The few fellows behind him all charged at Xiaofan and surrounded him. They did not distinguish between right and wrong and attacked immediately. Some kicked, some hit, some from the front, some from the side, and some from the back. This group of hooligans were used to group fights and knew how to end the fight quickly. They understood the principle of killing a master with a flurry of punches. They directly attacked as a group and cooperated well with each other. They surrounded Xiaofan from all directions, leaving no blind spots. In other words, no matter which direction Xiaofan retreated to, it would be useless. He would still be attacked. Su Chuxia and Tian Wangshou screamed and hurriedly dodged to the side. However, Brother Jean did not let these people hit them. He only wanted to hit Xiaofan, so no one cared about them. If they really didn't lose money later, then they would consider taking the two little girls away and play with them for a while before selling them to the nightclub to pay off the debt. These hooligans were very familiar with this kind of trick of bullying one person. They did it often. However, the person they encountered today was Xiaofan. Forget about these hooligans, even those martial artists were useless. Xiaofan casually set up an illusion and then went up to fight. These people originally wanted to hit Xiaofan, but suddenly their vision blurred. Then, the bald leader felt his body become light and directly flew out. Chapter 551. It turned out that Xiaofan directly reached out and grabbed his collar. He threw him into the sky, and the guy directly turned into an astronaut and flew up. Therefore, in the eyes of outsiders, this place was covered in dust, and they couldn't see the situation inside clearly. However, there were people constantly flying up into the sky, as if they were launching rockets. The whooshing sounds were very interesting. These people kept taking off, landing, and taking off and landing again. It was like jumping on a trampoline. It was very fun. This is so fun. Xiao Chang, is this a rocket launch? Tian Wangshou shouted excitedly when he saw people constantly rising into the sky from the dust. Su Chuxia was also a little speechless. How could this work? Previously, Su Chuxia thought that Xiao Chen was very pretentious. She thought that he was deliberately showing off to attract her attention so that he could pursue her. However, after knowing that he was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, she got used to it. If he wasn't powerful, why would he be sent to protect her? This is so boring. When Xiao Chen saw that everyone was lying down, he put away the illusion. The dust gradually dissipated, and then, on the ground, there were small gangsters lying everywhere, including the bald guy and Brother Jean. Especially Brother Jean. He was originally dressed very coolly, but now, he looked like he had just come out of a refugee camp. The gold chain around his neck was also broken and fell to the side. Xiao Chen casually picked up the gold chain and put it in his pocket. This is the appearance fee. But it seems a little. As he said that, Xiao Chen began to search Brother Jean and the bald guy. After searching for a long time, he found 2 wallets. When he opened them, other than bank cards, there was only a few thousand yuan in cash. Xiao Chen was so angry that he threw the wallets on their faces. Poor bastards. Brother Jean and the bald guy were very depressed, but they didn't dare to refute. They had experienced how powerful Xiao Chen was. He was simply not human. At this time, they thought of a name, martial artist. Obviously, Xiao Chen was a martial artist. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so powerful. However, who would go out with a lot of cash? This was the era of card and code scanning. It was inconvenient to carry a lot of money. Let's go. Xiao Chen put away the money and said. Don't. It's fun. Let's try it again. Tian Wangshou saw that the rocket launch was very fun, and he still felt a little unsatisfied, so he quickly said. One more time. Xiao Chen looked at Tian Suruan with a puzzled expression. What do you mean? Just now, they soared into the air. It was quite interesting. It was like watching an acrobatic performance. It was really fun. Tian Sour said, can you perform it again? What's so fun about this? Xiao Chen suddenly had black lines on his head. Well, let's go eat. Don't worry about these guys. No. Tian Sourso stomped his feet. You said before that you would listen to me, but now you don't want to listen? Aya, Sister Sourso is so miserable. It was broken, and someone doesn't want to take responsibility. Okay, then let's do it again. Xiao Chen walked over helplessly and grabbed the bald-headed man. Consider yourself unlucky. Don't. Brother. I was wrong. The bald-headed man was shocked. When he was thrown into the sky, although it felt great at that moment. People said that it felt good to be in the sky. That was what it meant. However, when he fell down, it didn't feel good. His head fell down with a bang, and he was confused. It was easy to get injured. It's useless to say anything. Go up. Xiao Chen swung his hand, and with a swoosh, the bald-headed man flew up. Then, Xiao Chen went to grab Brother Jean next to him. Although Brother Jean was depressed, he could only accept his fate. Who asked them to meet such a martial artist? They should be thankful that they weren't killed directly. It was nothing to be tortured. Fun. Tian Sourso clapped her hands happily. Oh right, Xiao Chang, can you not let them fall to the ground? It's like throwing balls in a circus. One by one, throw them up when they fall, okay? You're really troublesome. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Do you think I'm a juggler? Aya, when Sister Sourso is happy, it doesn't hurt anywhere. Tian Sourso said. Okay. I'll try. Xiao Chen nodded. Then, he picked up these punks one by one and threw them into the sky. Then, before they could land, he caught them and threw them up again. He was like an acrobat in a circus who kept throwing balls. All the punks didn't fall to the ground and flew around in the sky. Tian Sourso was happy. Wuxia, it's really fun. Sister Sourso, I didn't expect Xiao Chang to be so powerful. Why don't you just agree to him? Where can you find such a powerful man? If you like it, I'll give it to you. Besides, didn't you get exposed by him? Just nice, you can rely on him. Su Wuxia curled her lips. Although she was also very surprised and felt that Xiao Chen's ability was a little abnormal, when she thought about how he was a martial artist from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, it wasn't a big deal. Of course, this was also because Su Wuxia didn't have much contact with martial artists. Even a martial artist wouldn't be able to do this, let alone a martial artist. After all, each skill had its own specialization. This kind of juggling required a very high reaction speed. Xiao Chen's six senses were sharp, so he could naturally do it. However, how could an ordinary martial artist have this kind of coordination? It wasn't a problem to throw them all up, but it was much more difficult to keep them from falling to the ground. Hee, it's good, but I don't have money. Sister Sourso is used to having money in the past. I can't live without money. Tian Sourso shook his head and said. After playing for a while, Xiao Chen saw that it was about time. After all, there were many onlookers around. If he caused any unnecessary trouble, Xiao Chen didn't catch them again. Bang, bang, bang. With a series of chaotic sounds, these punks all fell to the ground and fainted. Tian Sourso was a little unsatisfied. Xiao Chang, why didn't you continue? That's enough. There are so many people watching. Xiao Chen said, let's go and eat. But don't eat here. There are too many people here. Oh, okay. Tian Sourso noticed that there were many people watching them, so he nodded. Wuxia, let's go. Su Wuxia had wanted to leave a long time ago. Although the juggling performance by Xiao Chen was very fun, it made her a little uncomfortable to be watched by so many people. After hearing Tian Sourso's words, she quickly turned around and left with them. A strong person like Xiao Chen naturally didn't dare to stop them. They all made way for them. The three of them went straight to the parking lot and quickly walked to the edge of the car. After getting in the car, Xiao Chen quickly drove the car out of the parking lot and down the mountain. The onlookers saw that there was no more fun to watch, so they all dispersed. No one cared about those punks. In the distance, Moj was deep in thought. Then, she quickly returned to Tianqing Temple and hurried to find Taoist Luli. Moj, you're back? How was it? Taoist Luli asked. Master, that Xiao Chang isn't simple. Moj said with a dignified expression. Oh? What happened? Tell me about it. Taoist Luli immediately became interested and asked. It's like this. When I secretly followed behind him and observed him, he seemed to have noticed it and suddenly turned around to look for me. Fortunately, I hid quickly. Otherwise, he would have discovered me. Moj said. Oh? He could actually discover me? Taoist Luli was a little surprised. However, this doesn't mean anything. Some people's sixth sense is particularly sharp. Yes, if this isn't anything, I'm a little surprised by what happened next. Moj said, the situation is like this. Moj told him about how Xiao Chen met the Baldy and the others and how he tossed them around like a circus ball. Is that true? So, this Xiao Chang is a warrior? This time, Taoist Luli's expression was a little dignified. Then, we have to pay attention to his appearance, Master. I can confirm that he is a warrior. Mo Ji said, otherwise, he wouldn't have such great power. Moreover, there is a detail. He can set up illusions. This is something that only a demonic cultivator can do. A demonic cultivator can do it, but so can our Tianqing Taoist Lu Li said. He is just a demonic cultivator. How can he be compared to the true disciples of our Tianqing Taoist? Mo Ji said disdainfully. Don't underestimate demonic cultivators and martial cultivators. They are also very powerful. Although our Tianqing Taoist is powerful, you haven't mastered it yet. Don't underestimate the enemy. Taoist Lu Li said. Yes, Master is right. Mo Ji quickly said in fear and trepidation. It seems that there is something wrong with this Xiao Chang. Kai Lehu didn't lie. This Xiao Chang is indeed a powerful warrior. He might really be from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. However, his relationship with Tian Shoushou is a little strange. Could it be a cover-up? Taoist Lu Li muttered to himself, is it a coincidence or? Master, then now I. Mo Ji asked. It's fine. You can leave first. I will call you if there is anything. Taoist Lu Li waved his hand. Okay, Master. Disciple will leave. Mo Ji nodded and left. Taoist Lu Li pinched his chin thoughtfully. This matter was a little complicated. He didn't want to be the first to stand out, but if he didn't do anything, he might be directly excluded by Kai Lehu. At that time, he wouldn't get a single cent sai. This Xiao Chang is really tight-lipped. I tried to probe for a long time, but I didn't get anything out of him. The two of them talked nonsense for a long time. What should I do? Taoist Lu Li also had a headache. The next step was to find out where Xiao Chang lived. From there, he could further guess the relationship between him and Su Chuxia. Chapter 552. Xiao Chen drove the car to the foot of the mountain. There were many restaurants at the foot of the mountain. Xiao Chen stopped the car and asked the two beauties, what do you want to eat? Chuxia, what about you? Tian Souring looked at the row of restaurants and drooled. Souring, don't look like you haven't eaten for a long time. People who don't know might think that you came back from a deserted island. Su Chuxia said, it's hard to imagine that you used to be a young lady of a noble family. No matter how noble I am, didn't I escape? Tian Souring said indifferently, besides, I left when I was young. It's been a few years now. My family has probably forgotten who I am. Xiao Chen was curious as he listened. This Tian Souring used to be a young lady of a noble family? It sounds like she was very rich, but I don't know why she escaped from her family. It's a bit strange. However, Xiao Chen didn't ask much. He was just a passerby in their lives. Even if he and Tian Souring had an accident, Tian Souring couldn't really blame him. Therefore, Xiao Chen didn't care too much. After this mission was over, he should leave. There is a Hong Kong-style restaurant over there. Why don't we eat there? It looks lighter. Su Chuxia looked at these restaurants and chose one. A tea restaurant. Tian Souring obviously didn't like it. I like to eat meat. There is also barbecued meat there. We can eat there later. Xiao Chen glanced at it and said, there aren't many people in this restaurant. Let's go there. Really, you still like Chuxia? Sister Souring has been poked, and you still speak up for Chuxia. Tian Souring sighed. He. Xiao Chen smiled. Okay, I'll treat you, okay? You can eat whatever you want. That's more like it. Tian Souring got out of the car. The three of them walked into the Hong Kong-style restaurant and commented on the photos of the dishes on the display board. At this time, Xiao Chen felt someone coming from behind, but he didn't care. He thought it was a normal customer. However, this person patted him from behind and said, "Xiao Chen." Xiao Chen's heart suddenly skipped a beat. He was slightly shocked, but he still turned his head calmly. He looked at the person blankly and said, "Who are you calling?" However, when Xiao Chen saw the person, he was suddenly stunned. He actually knew this person. He was a good friend of his from junior high. His name was Wang Fantian. This name sounded very arrogant, but in reality, he was the same as Xiao Chen. He came from a big family, but he couldn't cultivate. At that time, he followed his parents to Songning City to start a business, so he went to school in Songning City for a period of time. He sat with Xiao Chen and became good friends. Wang Fengtian and Xiao Chen couldn't cultivate internal energy because they had the same weakness. Wang Fengtian was different from Xiao Chen. He couldn't cultivate internal energy after a serious illness. He could cultivate in the past, and he was already a martial artist at stage 2 of internal energy at a young age. However, after his illness, he had no internal energy. No matter how much he cultivated, his strength increased, but without internal energy, he couldn't level up. Speaking of which, he was slightly stronger than Xiao Chen. The two of them talked about everything. He also knew that Xiao Chen liked Shen Jingxian. Wang Fengtian also liked a girl. She was a gentle and quiet girl. Her appearance wasn't that outstanding, but she had an indescribable scholarly aura. After the girl graduated from junior high, she also transferred to another school. Xiao Chen didn't see her again. He didn't expect to meet Wang Fengtian in Lan City. During junior high, his appearance didn't change much. Therefore, Xiao Chen could recognize him at a glance. Xiao Chen wasn't surprised that Wang Fengtian recognized him. His voice now was Xiao Chen's original voice. Wang Fengtian was very familiar with him. From his back, he should be able to recognize him. His voice and back, it wasn't surprising that Wang Fengtian was so determined to recognize him. However, although Xiao Chen was very excited, he couldn't recognize him. It wasn't because he was afraid that Wang Fengtian would report him to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. With Xiao Chen's knowledge of people, Wang Fengtian was like Zhu Yingxiong. It was because Xiao Chen was afraid that he would be exposed at this time and be seen by people with ulterior motives. Previously, Xiao Chen had a feeling that he was being followed. Although Baldy and the others appeared later, it was possible that Baldy was following them. However, Xiao Chen did not dare to be certain. Moreover, once his identity was exposed, he wouldn't be able to explain to Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan. Therefore, he could only pretend to be confused. You're not Xiao Chen? Wang Fengtian looked at the stranger in front of him in confusion. From his back and voice, this person should be his good friend, Xiao Chen. However, from his appearance, they were completely different people. My surname is Xiao, but I'm not Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen said, "Did you get the wrong person? Your surname is Xiao too? Then, do you know Xiao Chen? Are the two of you relatives?" Wang Fengtian felt that Xiao Chang's back and voice were very similar to Xiao Chen's. The two of them might be relatives. I don't know him. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, I really got the wrong person." Wang Fengtian smiled bitterly and said, "I'm very sorry. It's okay." Xiao Chen turned around indifferently and entered the restaurant with Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan. Only Wang Fengtian was left looking at Xiao Chen's back with some confusion. Xiao Chen didn't expect to meet Wang Fengtian here. However, from his attire, he should be doing quite well. This was a little strange. At that time, he couldn't cultivate, so his family was marginalized and sent to Songning City to take care of the family business. Now, seeing Wang Fengtian get out of a Bugatti sports car dressed in branded clothes, this was a sign that the family valued him. Could it be that he was like him and could cultivate again? Xiao Chen was really happy for him. After all, they used to be brothers, and they were in the same boat. Now, everyone had a new future. The three of them asked for a small private room. Tian Suruan went to order the dishes, leaving only Xiao Chen and Su Chuxia in the private room. Su Chuxia suddenly asked, "Xiao Chang, do you know that person just now?" "Oh? Why do you say that?" Xiao Chen was stunned. "That's not your original appearance," Su Chuxia said. "Xiao Chen is a random name that you came up with when you were carrying out a mission, right? I saw that when you saw him just now, you were slightly stunned. I felt that you seemed to know him, but because you were carrying out a mission, you couldn't acknowledge him, right? You're thinking too much." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "I do know someone called Xiao Chen." "Huh? Then why did you say that you didn't know him just now?" Su Chuxia asked curiously. "That Xiao Chen is a wanted criminal in our Supernatural Investigation Bureau. If I said something like this, I might expose my identity. Usually, it's not at that level, and very few people pay attention to this." Xiao Chen explained, "That's why I was stunned." "I see." Su Chuxia nodded. She was just making a random guess. It wasn't that she suspected anything. After saying this, she poured herself a cup of tea and drank it. She and Xiao Chen didn't have much in common. Previously, it was mostly Tian Suruan talking. Xiao Chen didn't know what to say and closed his eyes to rest. However, as soon as he closed his eyes, Xiao Chen had a feeling that he was being watched. It was as if someone was secretly observing him. When Xiao Chen opened his eyes, this feeling disappeared again. When he closed his eyes again, the feeling came again. When he opened his eyes again, it was gone. This made Xiao Chen feel a little strange. He was clearly in the private room. How could someone be following him? He stood up quietly and said to Su Chuxia, "I'll go out and take a look. Don't wander around here." "Oh?" Su Chuxia was slightly puzzled. However, seeing that Xiao Chen's expression was a little serious, she nodded. Although she said that she didn't want Xiao Chen's protection, after spending time together, she felt that Xiao Chen was a good person. At least, he was much better than Xiao Meng. He was easy to talk to, and they were the same age, so there wasn't much of a generation gap. Looking at Xiao Chen's expression, she guessed that something had happened. Therefore, she cooperated and agreed. She wouldn't purposely disobey him. Xiao Chen got up and walked out of the private room. He saw Tian Suruan ordering food not far away. Over there, Wang Fantian, who he saw before, was also ordering food. However, Wang Fantian didn't talk to Tian Suruan again. Instead, he was ordering food by himself. After looking around, Xiao Chen didn't see any danger. This made him a little puzzled. There was clearly no one following him. Why did he feel like he was being watched? Looking at this restaurant, there were indeed some cameras. However, cameras were cameras. It was impossible for these things to feel like they were monitoring him. Here, Xiao Chen closed his eyes. The feeling appeared again. Xiao Chen was about to go crazy. Just when Xiao Chen didn't know what to do, he heard the voice of the elder heaven ancestor. "There's no need to look anymore. Xiao Chen, someone has placed a divine sense imprint on your body." Divine sense imprint? What is that? After listening, Xiao Chen's heart trembled. It didn't sound like anything good. It's an ability of cultivators. They can leave their divine sense imprint on others. Then, through this divine sense imprint, they can feel your location. It can even be used for monitoring and eavesdropping. The elder heaven ancestor said. No way. Who is so powerful? Could it be that Taoist Lu Li? Xiao Chen suddenly thought of this person. He was afraid that only this person had this ability. Your divine sense imprint is the lowest level of divine sense imprint. It can only sense your location within a certain range, but it can't be used for monitoring and eavesdropping. The elder heaven ancestor said. So, that Taoist Lu Li is also a cultivator? Xiao Chen was shocked. Chapter 553. That's not necessarily true. Some demonic cultivators can also do it. Moreover, those who refine voodoo in Miaojiang can also do it, but the methods are similar. One is the demonic energy imprint, and the other is the voodoo imprint. Elder Heaven Ancestor said, in essence, the effects are similar. So, does Taoist Lu Li know that I am here now? Asked Xiao Chen. It should be like this. Elder Heaven Ancestor affirmed. Then how should I get rid of it? I can't let this thing always be on me. I think that Taoist Lu Li is not a good person. He always tries to get information from me. He must have some purpose. Xiao Chen was a little annoyed. It's very simple. This lowest level of spiritual awareness imprint is either on the clothes or on the surface of your body. On the clothes, you just need to take it off and throw it aside or burn it directly. Elder Heaven Ancestor explained, it's a bit difficult to get rid of it on the body. You have to soak it in water for 1 to 3 days, or even longer. Or, you can find the location and directly burn it with samadhi true fire. There should be a touch of dark blue color on the body, a very small dot. Xiao Chen frowned. He must get rid of Taoist Lu Li's spiritual awareness imprint as soon as possible. If this thing really followed him home, then Taoist Lu Li must know where he lived. It would be useless to get rid of it then. However, is it on the clothes or on the body? While Xiao Chen was thinking, Elder Heaven Ancestor continued, Taoist Lu Li did not have physical contact with you, and the talisman paper and cinnabar were also handed to you by the disciple without going through his hands. Therefore, it should only be on your clothes, not on your body. That's good. Xiao Chen breathed a sigh of relief, took off his coat, returned to the box, and threw it aside. Then he closed his eyes again. The feeling had disappeared. Sure enough. At this time, Xiao Chen became more and more certain that Taoist dearly wanted to know where he lived. When he got home, he might wash his clothes, and the spiritual sense imprint would be washed away. Therefore, Taoist dearly did not care. Under normal circumstances, Xiao Chen would inevitably go home with his clothes on. It was impossible to throw them away halfway. What are you doing? Did you notice anything wrong? Su Chuxia asked. It's nothing. Xiao Chen said, let's leave as soon as we finish eating. Oh. Su Chuxia didn't ask anything else. The dishes were served rather quickly. After Tian Suru ordered, the dishes were served in no time. After the three of them finished eating, they paid the bill and left. Xiao Chen guessed that he had left his coat in the private room and did not take it with him. When the three of them left the restaurant, Su Chuxia noticed that Xiao Chen wasn't wearing a coat. She couldn't help but feel a little confused. Huh? Where's your coat? Oh, no, Xiao Chen said. You don't want it anymore? Su Chuxia was confused. Nouveau riche. Tian Suru said in admiration, by the way, are you really a low-key nouveau riche? Your car is so well modified. Are you actually very rich? Are you deliberately pretending to be poor? It's all right, Xiao Chen replied casually. Oh, then Sister Suru has decided not to find a boyfriend. You take care of Sister Suru. I will depend on you in the future, Tian Suru said. Of course, no problem. Xiao Chen agreed readily, but he sighed in his heart. After this mission, there probably wouldn't be many opportunities to see each other. After returning to Lan City, Xiao Chen drove the car. Under Su Chuxia's guidance, they came to an old-fashioned compound community. This should be the military compound that Su Chuxia mentioned. The people who lived here were the workers and technicians of the military factory. Su Chuxia's grandmother lived here. Although Su Chuxia's father had been promoted to the person in charge of the research base and his salary had increased a lot, it was not a problem for him to buy a good house. Old people still like to live in old places. The three of them went upstairs together. Su Chuxia's grandmother lived on the second floor. When Su Chuxia opened the door, she saw a kind old lady sitting on the sofa watching TV. Another old man was playing with the flowers. When she saw Su Chuxia enter, the old lady looked up. "Chuxia, Suru, you're here." "Huh? There's a guest?" Obviously, Su Chuxia and Tian Suru came often, but it was Xiao Chen's first time. "This is..." Granny Su looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. It was the first time that Su Chuxia had brought a man over. It had never happened before. Tian Suru wanted to say something but was interrupted by Su Chuxia. "Granny, this is Suru's boyfriend, Xiao Chang." "Oh, Suru's boyfriend." Granny Su laughed. "That's true. In the blink of an eye, Suru is a big girl. It's time for her to find a boyfriend. Chuxia, you have to hurry. Granny wants to have a fourth generation in one lifetime, Granny." Su Chuxia was a little embarrassed. Tian Suru wanted to refute, but when she thought about Su Chuxia's shyness, she accepted it. Anyway, Xiao Chen was her temporary boyfriend. "Granny, Chuxia has a lot of suitors, but we're still in high school. The earliest we can get married is when we're in university. Sigh, I still have to wait a few years. I don't know if I can wait until then." Granny Su sighed. At this time, Grandpa Su put down the things in his hands and stood up. "Chuxia, your granny and I are old. Our only wish is to see you start a family. Don't be so picky." "Grandpa, Su Chuxia was a little depressed. Why was it always this topic? "Grandpa, Granny, you can live to a ripe old age. By the way, we just came back from Tianqing Temple. Here are 2 bottles of celestial water. Chuxia, it's been hard on you. You went to Tianqing Temple again." "This is my old habit. Whenever winter comes, I rely on this," Granny Su said. "By the way, Xiao Chang, didn't you say that you have medical skills? Can you take a look at Granny?" Tian Suru suddenly remembered what Xiao Chen said before. Seeing how good Xiao Chen was, he might really have a way. "Okay, then I'll take a look." Xiao Chen nodded. "Young man, you know medical skills?" Granny Su was a little surprised. "A little." Xiao Chen smiled. "Better than that liar Lu Li, don't brag." "Who doesn't know how to brag?" Su Chuxia glared at Xiao Chen. "If you're so capable, make my granny stand up." "Oh, I'll try." As Xiao Chen said this, he turned around and went downstairs. In the trunk of the car, there were some medicine dregs and other things that he brought from Songning City. Xiao Chen didn't take them upstairs because he took the bus back on the first day. He left his car at school, so he didn't have time to take them. "Why did you turn around and leave?" Tian Suru was a little puzzled. "You don't have to do this even if you can't cure her, right? I'm going down to get something." Xiao Chen smiled. "Oh, Chuxia, I don't think Xiao Chang is someone who brags," Tian Suru said. "Let's see." Su Chuxia actually felt that Xiao Chen shouldn't brag because it was meaningless. He wasn't really pursuing her. He was just protecting her. Who was he bragging to? However, Xiao Chen's words were too magical. He even said that he was better than Daoist Lu Li and could make his granny stand up. That was a little unbelievable. At this moment, Daoist Lu Li sneezed. It was a little strange. Could he still catch a cold? He quickly came to the foot of the mountain and entered the Hong Kong-style restaurant. At this moment, he was dressed in secular clothes. No one recognized him. He was the famous Taoist Lu Li. When he entered a private room and saw a piece of clothing thrown in the corner, Taoist Lu Li was instantly furious. Wow, he actually saw through it? Impossible. How did he know that my divine sense imprint was on the clothes? Taoist Lu Li looked at the abandoned clothes and muttered to himself. Did he forget? But it was impossible for someone to forget his coat in the middle of winter, right? There was definitely something wrong with this Xiao Chang. Taoist Lu Li was 100% sure that this person was not simple. He was not an ordinary person. However, he didn't believe that Xiao Chang was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He felt that Xiao Chen seemed to have some relationship with Taoism. He was not a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator. This was because his divine sense imprint could not be discovered even by a demonic cultivator. This was different from the demonic chi imprint. I wonder how Nishima Kikuo is doing. If this Xiao Chang is really powerful, Nishima Kikuo probably won't be able to find out anything. Indeed, at this moment, Ling Qianxue was kneeling in front of Nishima Kikuo and was reporting something. In that case, you can't be sure who this Xiao Chang is? Nishima Kikuo frowned. Yes, Lord Nishima, please punish me for my incompetence. Ling Qianxue said in fear and trepidation. This is not your fault. Nishima Kikuo waved his hand. Next time, follow this Xiao Chang and see where he lives. It's best to test his strength at night. Qianxue understands. Ling Qianxue immediately nodded. If you are not as strong as him, retreat immediately. Don't continue fighting. Nishima Kikuo said. The most important thing is not to let him discover your identity. Rest assured, Lord Nishima. Ling Qianxue replied. Xiao Chen returned upstairs with a bag of medicinal dregs in his hand. He said directly, I see that Grandpa Su's body isn't very good. You should have some cardiovascular disease, right? Yes, young man. You can also see my illness? Grandpa Su looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. He didn't expect Xiao Chen to be able to see his illness from afar. How brilliant was his medical skills? Xiao Chen actually couldn't see it either. It was the elder heaven ancestor who told him. Xiao Chen, are you really trying to woo Su Chuxia? The elder heaven ancestor asked with a smile. Didn't I make it in time? Besides, I have a good relationship with Su Chuxia, so I helped her out. There are medicinal dregs anyway, Xiao Chen said. I think you are laying the groundwork in advance, the elder heaven ancestor said. You are thinking too much, Xiao Chen said. Su Chuxia was a little surprised this time. Xiao Chen could see Grandpa's problem with just one look. Chapter 554. Is there a clay pot here? Xiao Chen asked. Yes. Su Chuxia nodded. She went to the kitchen and found a clay pot. She was very familiar with the surroundings. You want to brew medicine? But where did you get it from? There aren't any pharmacies around here, right? Even if there are, they wouldn't be able to get it so quickly. Your celestial water is a lie. Mine is the real celestial medicine. Xiao Chen smiled. It can cure all illnesses. Grandpa Su and Grandma Su will be cured if they drink it together. Really? Su Chuxia didn't believe him. You trust that Taoist priest Lu Li's celestial water so much. Why are you suspecting my celestial medicine? Xiao Chen took the clay pot and skillfully added some medicinal dregs. He filled it with water and started brewing. How can that be the same? Su Chuxia lowered her voice. You're from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I admit that you know a lot, but medicine, then just take a look. Xiao Chen smiled. Since you know who I am, you should know that I'm not a scammer. I wouldn't harm you. That's true. Su Chuxia nodded. After brewing the medicine, Xiaochen calculated the time and chatted with Su Chuxia. That Taoist priest Lu Li isn't a good person. Try not to go to Tianqing Temple in the future. Now that I've cured your grandpa and grandma, you don't have to go anymore. Why? I go there every year to ask for medicine. I think Taoist priest Lu Li is very kind. He even gave us so many things this year. Su Chuxia was confused. Is there someone who wants to harm me? Yes. Xiaochen nodded. I suspect that Taoist priest Lu Li is one of them. He kept trying to get information out of me, and he even put a tracking device on my clothes. Xiaochen didn't say spiritual imprint because Su Chuxia didn't understand it. He used a more common term. She would definitely understand a tracking device. Ah, a tracking device. Really? Su Chuxia was shocked. How could this be? So that's why you threw your coat away. Why else would I throw away my coat? Xiaochen shrugged. I bought that coat with my own money. But if you lose it, won't Taoist Lu Li find out? Su Chuxia asked. He has suspected me for a long time. If he finds out, then so be it. Even if I burn it, he will still find out. If I go back home, he will know where I live. Xiaochen said indifferently, I didn't expect these people to be so smart. My disguise is so good, but they still suspect me. It's all because of that little Meng. After he was exposed, anyone who appears around me will be the first to be suspected. Su Chuxia said helplessly, you guys are so protective of me that it's starting to affect my life. Luckily, you're easy to talk to. That can't be helped. Your father is engaged in confidential research. Some people want to spy on the secrets, so they will come up with crooked ideas and attack you. Xiaochen said, I'll deal with them one by one after I figure out which group of people are after you. Then, what about after that? Won't I have to be protected by you for the rest of my life? Su Chuxia asked gloomily. That won't happen. These are all people who were hiding in Lan City before, so it's not easy to determine. As for those who came later, as long as they are suspicious people who entered Lan City from abroad, they will be immediately targeted by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It won't be a big problem, Xiaochen said. Oh. Su Chuxia nodded. I'll go see Tian Suruan. Grandpa Su and Granny Su chatted with Tian Suruan. They were a little confused. Why was Xiao Chong talking to Su Chuxia in the kitchen, but Tian Suruan was talking to them? Whose boyfriend was he? Why was it a little messy? Seeing Su Chuxia come out, Tian Suruan said, Chuxia, why were you gone for so long? Did you? She was just about to say that she was interested in Xiao Chong, but on second thought, Su Chuxia's grandparents were still there. She quickly swallowed her words. Did Xiao Chong boast and can't be cured? I don't think so. I saw that he was quite serious, so I asked about the details. Su Chuxia didn't say that someone was targeting her. She was afraid that her grandparents would worry. After a while, Xiaochen also came out. He carried 2 bowls of medicine and placed them in front of Grandpa Su and Granny Su. Elders, drink these 2 bowls of immortal medicine. I guarantee that your illness will be cured. Oh. Huh, okay. Granny Su didn't doubt it. In her opinion, Tian Suruan's boyfriend wouldn't harm her. At most, it wouldn't work, but she couldn't let him down. Grandpa Su thought the same, so the 2 of them drank the medicine without saying a word. Elders, it's best for you to move your bodies and let the medicine digest as soon as possible. Just moving a little will do. Xiaochen said. After all, their injuries were different from Grandpa Jin's. They weren't martial artists, so their injuries weren't very serious. They just needed to move a little to absorb the medicine. The 2 elders nodded. They listened to Xiaochen and began to move. Granny Su's legs weren't working well, so she couldn't stand up. She could only twist her body back and forth on the sofa. Grandpa Su, on the other hand, walked around the living room. After a while, Grandpa Su reacted and quickly ran to the bathroom. Granny Su didn't move as much, but she didn't move as fast. After a while, Grandpa Su came out. This time, not long after, Granny Su also rushed from the sofa to the bathroom. "Hey, Xiao Chang, did you give my grandparents laxatives? Why do they keep going to the bathroom?" Su Chuxia was a little suspicious. Could it be that Xiao Chen's medicine wasn't clean? Yes, they're excreting some of the toxins in their bodies. But didn't you notice that your grandmother is already running like she's flying? Xiao Chen laughed. Ah. Only then did Su Chuxia realize that Granny ran into the bathroom on her own. Previously, Granny didn't walk this fast. Even if she stood up, she would need someone to support her. Her rheumatism was very serious, and it was almost like she was paralyzed. But now, Grandpa Su was stunned after hearing this. He remembered that Granny Su had indeed rushed into the bathroom on her own, and she was very fast. Was she really cured? However, Grandpa Su had experienced it himself. He felt refreshed, and the discomfort from before was gone. Old people always had this and that problem, but now he felt like he was a lot younger. It was as if he had returned to the days when he worked in a factory. He was full of energy. Now, he could go back to work without a problem. "Young man, your medical skills are really good. This is indeed an elixir." Grandpa Su stretched his body and felt very comfortable. He couldn't help but say from the bottom of his heart, souring, "Your boyfriend is too amazing. Is he from a medical family?" "Huh, huh." Tian Souring laughed unnaturally. She didn't know where Xiao Chen came from, so she could only say casually, "He knows a little about everything." At this time, Granny Su also walked out of the bathroom. After taking 2 steps, she realized that she could walk again. She was instantly shocked, and her expression was exactly the same as Grandpa Su's. "My leg is cured." At this moment, Su Chuxia couldn't help but admire Xiao Chang. She also deeply admired the Supernatural Investigation Bureau for being full of capable people. The team leader of Team C was indeed extraordinary. "Of course it's cured, so you can throw away that Taoist Lu Li's immortal water." Xiao Chen said, "I won't take away the rest of the herbs. You two can brew it again tomorrow. Half an hour, no more and no less. If you take it again, it won't be a problem for you to live to 100 years old." "Really?" Su Chuxia's eyes lit up, and she looked at Xiao Chen in surprise. "It can even prolong one's life?" "Of course. After expelling the toxins from the body, one's entire body will return to its youthful state. It's not a problem for one to live to 100 years old," Xiao Chen said. "Thank you." For the first time, Su Chuxia felt that having Xiao Chen by her side was quite good. Previously, that Xiao Chen didn't know anything and only knew how to cause trouble. Now that Xiao Chen was here, not only could he accompany her to get medicine, but he could also treat her illness. Now, she didn't mind having Xiao Chen by her side at all. "It's all right. With Souring's relationship, there's no need to thank me," Xiao Chen said with a smile. "Don't, you have to thank me. Chuxia, you have to treat Sister Souring to a feast," Tian Souring quickly said. "Okay." Su Chuxia didn't reject this time. "You have to eat. You have to treat me." Grandpa Su quickly took out a stack of money from his pocket. There were more than 1,000 yuan, and he directly gave it to Su Chuxia. Then, he said to Xiao Chen and Tian Souring, "Grandpa knows that this is not enough to pay for the medical expenses, but it's still enough to treat you to a meal." He also knew that if he gave money to Xiao Chen definitely wouldn't accept it. This was the only way to express his gratitude. "Okay, then we'll eat Grandpa Su's meal." Xiao Chen didn't reject it. If he did, the old man might feel uneasy. The three of them chatted for a while and went back. It was getting late. Xiao Chang, why do you have medical skills? Tian Souring asked curiously. Why do you seem to be omnipotent? Are you a student or not? I've read novels and movies. It's said that some soldiers or secret agents return to the city and become students. On the one hand, they enjoy the school life, but on the other hand, they are actually secretly carrying out special missions. Are you the same? Cough cough. After hearing Tian Souring's words, Su Chuxia was shocked and immediately coughed. Chuxia, are you kidding? I was just randomly guessing. You don't have to have such a big reaction, right? It's just a joke, and you're looking down on me. Tian Souring obviously misunderstood Su Chuxia's meaning. I also know that it's very magical, but... Xiao Chang, how do you really know everything? What do I know? Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. You can cook, fight, have medical skills, race cars. What else can't you do? Tian Souring said excitedly. Otherwise, you're a hidden psychic among the people, right? Not only do I watch TV, but I also read novels. Lin Yi from School Beauty's Bodyguard and Yang Ming from So Pure, So Flirtatious. They are all masters hiding among the people. Are you one too? Chapter 555. Xiao Chen didn't know how to answer her. I think you can be the main character of a novel. Why don't I write a novel for you? Let's call it, Amazing Young Master Chang. Aren't you called Xiao Chang? Tian Souring couldn't stop chattering. Alright, Souring. How can there be so many magical things? Xiao Chang is multi-talented. You're thinking too much, Su Chuxia interrupted her. You're right. Tian Souring nodded. After driving back to the neighborhood, before Xiao Chen got out of the car, he said to the two of them, if you're going out tomorrow, give me a call. But it's best if you don't go out. It's cold now. Oh. Su Chuxia replied. She didn't know why, but she listened to Xiao Chen a little. Was it because he cured Grandpa and Grandma's illness? Maybe it was. When they got home, Xiao Chen still used his binoculars to watch the two of them. Only when they got home did Xiao Chen relax. Just as he was about to take a shower and rest, he saw Su Chuxia walk to the window in the living room. She waved at him and then closed the curtains. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. From the looks of it, Su Chuxia knew that he would definitely visit her, so, she gave him a heads up to warn him not to look around. Night gradually fell. After taking a shower, Xiao Chen sat cross-legged on his bed to cultivate. Recently, he had been trying to break through to the peak of the 9th layer of qi refinement but to no avail. Hongzhu hadn't contacted him either. It seemed that the spiritual jades hadn't been found yet. This made Xiao Chen a little depressed. Granny Nanshan and Ling Er didn't seem like scammers either. Why didn't they give him spiritual jades? If he had known this would happen, he would have secretly asked for the spiritual jades after the ancient ruins expedition. Why did he wait for them to give it to him? Now, they weren't coming, and there was no news. It would be even more difficult for Xiao Chen to break through. Elder Heaven Ancestor, is my aptitude that bad? Why can't I break through without the help of spiritual medicine and spiritual jades? Xiao Chen was depressed. He was stuck at a bottleneck. There's nothing I can do about it. It's fine if you're in the deep mountains and forests, but in this city, the heaven and earth spiritual qi is already scarce. Do you think it's possible for you to level up and make a breakthrough? The Elder Heaven Ancestor had a matter-of-fact look on his face. Actually, I feel that your aptitude is not bad. Your comprehension ability is very strong. In the cultivation world, if you have enough resources, it won't be a problem for you to rise. Alright. However, Xiao Chen didn't become happy because of the Elder Heaven Ancestor's praise, because he knew that he couldn't go to the cultivation world at all. Now that he was living in Lon City, no matter how good his aptitude was, it was useless without cultivation resources. That's right, can I use the divine sense imprint that Taoist Luli used today? For example, if I leave an imprint on Su Chuxia's body, I'll be able to know her location at any time, and I won't have to monitor her at all times. The divine sense imprint involves more things. Although I'm a cultivator, my knowledge of talisman crafting is limited. After all, there are specializations. In the cultivation world, there are talisman crafting masters, formation masters, alchemists, blacksmiths, and other professions. Those of us who pursue strength may dabble in these things, but we don't necessarily know all of them. This time, the elder heaven ancestor didn't pretend to understand. Instead, he told the truth. I feel that the heavenly pure monastery should be more proficient in crafting talismans, and the divine sense imprint is actually a variant of talisman crafting. The so-called talisman crafting is also using the divine sense to draw something on the talisman paper, and the divine sense imprint is actually drawn on your body. Then, you don't know? Xiao Chen was stunned. There was something that the elder heaven ancestor didn't know? I know some simple things about talisman crafting, and I can also teach you to practice, but I really don't know how to use the divine sense imprint. The elder heaven ancestor said straightforwardly. If you want to learn, you can find that Taoist Luli. Damn, even if I find him, he has to teach me divination. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Taoist Luli might be plotting something, so Xiao Chen wouldn't find him. Thinking of Taoist Luli, Xiao Chen was a little worried. He didn't know his specific strength, but Taoist Luli obviously had some ability. At least, he was better than Xiao Chen in crafting talismans. It seemed that Xiao Chen had to be careful not to fail miserably in an easy task. It was night, and it was very cold in Lon City in the middle of winter. Outside the window, snowflakes were falling. In a month, it would be the Chinese New Year. He didn't know if he could go back to Songning and the Xiao family during the Chinese New Year. He didn't know if he could go back to Songning, to the Xiao family, to see his grandfather, second uncle, and Xiao Xiao, and then to see the eldest lady, Jin Beibei, Tang Tang, Lu Shuangshuang, Zhuing Xiong, and Ke Lin. He didn't know how they were doing. In the cold night, a black shadow quietly came to Xiao Chen's window. The black shadow was wearing a tight nocturnal suit. If it weren't for the moonlight, it would be hard to find her. Judging from her figure, it was a masked woman. With the tools in her hands, the woman broke the lock on the window quickly. She gently pushed the door open and entered the room. Xiao Chen's eyes, which were originally closed, suddenly narrowed to an imperceptible gap in the darkness. His sensitive sixth senses allowed him to sense the person who came. Who was it? Why did she come to my room? Could it be Taoist Luli? Impossible. I've lost my clothes. How did he find me? With the help of the moonlight, Xiao Chen saw a petite woman with a strong figure. She was quietly walking toward him, who was sitting on the bed with his legs crossed. She held a dagger in her hand, and it flickered with a ghastly cold light in the darkness like an icy cold venomous snake, ghastly and terrifying. You're here. Xiao Chen opened his eyes and suddenly said when the woman was approaching him. The woman was suddenly shocked. She found it strange that Xiao Chen was meditating. She was very puzzled. Did Xiao Chen believe in Buddhism or Taoism? Otherwise, why would he be meditating in the middle of the night? She just didn't expect Xiao Chen to be cultivating. After all, martial artists rarely sat still during cultivation. Even if he was a demonic cultivator, it was impossible for him to close his eyes and not move at all, right? However, the woman was obviously only stunned for a moment. She quickly adjusted her emotions. Xiao Chang, you're actually not sleeping. You're sitting here. Did you know that I was coming and were waiting for me? The woman's voice was a little cold and hollow. It sounded a little scary in the night, like the voice of a ghost. I didn't know that you were coming, and I don't know who you are. I just went to the Heavenly Clear Monastery today and learned a meditation method. Then, you came. Are you a thief? Xiaofan asked. It's not common to see a female Spider-Man. The woman was slightly stunned when she heard Xiaofan's words. Did he think that she was a thief who could leap onto roofs and vault over walls? However, the woman only paused for a moment. She didn't stop at all. The dagger in her hand quickly stabbed towards Xiaofan's chest without any warning. However, Xiaofan had already sensed the woman's evil intentions. With a slight turn of his body, he avoided the woman's dagger. At this moment, Xiaofan had a rough understanding of the woman's strength. Although she wasn't weak and had about the 8th to 9th level of inner strength, she was still not Xiaofan's match in terms of strength. However, Xiaofan didn't dare to be careless because this woman's moves were very strange. They didn't seem like normal martial arts. Her movements were very fast, like in martial arts novels, only speed could not be broken. If it wasn't for the fact that Xiaofan was prepared and his 6 senses were sharp, it would be hard to say if he could have dodged this attack. You have some skills. Xiaofan stood up but didn't attack. His moves were all killing moves. He wanted to leave her alive and ask her about her background. Humph. The dagger once again stabbed towards Xiaofan. The direction of the movement was tricky and strange. An expert with a saber. Xiaofan could only come up with this conclusion. Regardless of whether it was a martial cultivator or a demonic cultivator, they were not good at using weapons because weapons would restrict the display of their strength. Unless it was a divine weapon, it would hinder the eruption of inner strength and demonic chi. This was especially true for experts at the martial master level. It was better to not use it. Xiaofan leaned back and dodged the attack. However, he was a little shocked in his heart. This person's speed was too fast. If he wasn't a cultivator, he might have already been hit. In this pitch-black environment, even a martial master of a higher rank might fail. Seeing that Xiaofan dodged it, the woman was a little surprised. However, the dagger attacked again with a cold flash. The next moment, it was close to Xiaofan. Xiaofan seized the opportunity and grabbed the dagger in the woman's hand. The woman was shocked. She didn't expect Xiaofan to grab her dagger after dodging it. The woman was wearing night vision goggles so that she could see things in the dark. However, Xiaofan was not wearing anything, yet he was able to make such accurate judgments in the dark. He even dared to snatch the dagger. This really shocked her. She quickly retracted her hand, but Xiaofan continued to move forward. In the end, he grabbed the woman's chest. Ah! The woman was startled, and her face turned red. She dodged backward, but she did not expect Xiaofan to grab her. As she retreated, she felt pain from the pull. She could not help but curse, "Idiot." Shameless, Xiaofan actually didn't do it on purpose. He wanted to grab the dagger, but the woman's speed was so fast that she dodged directly. As a result, he grabbed the wrong position. Moreover, Xiaofan didn't expect that the woman wasn't wearing a bra. It wasn't that the woman didn't wear it, but it was uncomfortable to wear a bra at night. Furthermore, it restricted her movements during a fight, so she wouldn't wear it. How could she know that Xiaofan would grab her here? However, the woman's unintentional words made Xiaofan slightly stunned. This woman is a Japanese? This made him suddenly think of a sect, and that was the ninja. Are you a ninja? Xiaofan frowned and asked. He was a little puzzled. He thought that it was someone sent by Taoist Luli, but he didn't expect it to be a female ninja. However, he didn't have such a person among his enemies. Could it be that she was dealing with Su Chuxia? But how did she find him? Humph. The girl snorted coldly. She didn't want to continue fighting. She turned around and jumped out of the window. When Xiaofan walked to the window, there was no one outside. The cold night wind blew into the window. If the window wasn't open, Xiaofan would have thought that he was dreaming. Chapter 556. Xiaofan looked at the room opposite him. It looked very safe and there was nothing wrong with it. He heaved a sigh of relief. This person knew him and knew that his name was Xiaochang. It was a little strange that she had come here to deal with him. If she had the ability, why didn't she deal with Su Chuxia? Could it be that the person she wanted to deal with was actually him? Now that he was on guard, Xiaofan paid close attention to Su Chuxia's movements for the rest of the night. In the middle of the night, he vaguely saw some light coming from inside. Perhaps someone had woken up to go to the toilet. After a while, the light disappeared. Nothing else happened even until dawn, which made Xiaofan heave a sigh of relief. The woman quickly ran out of the neighborhood, got on a motorcycle, and left quickly. Late at night, racers would appear from time to time. Therefore, there was nothing special about the woman riding the motorcycle in the dark. At the Sakura clubhouse, the woman stopped the motorcycle and quickly entered the clubhouse. The clubhouse was already closed. The woman was clearly not here to spend money, but rather, she was a resident here. After entering the clubhouse hall, the woman carefully locked the door again. However, she did not go upstairs. Instead, she turned around and walked to a screen in the lobby. Behind the screen was a fire hydrant. However, when the woman opened the hydrant, there was a secret door inside. She carefully pushed the secret door open and walked into a long and narrow corridor. It was a completely different world. It looked like another place. Stopping in front of the last door, the woman knocked on it. Nishima Kikuo's unpleasant voice came from inside. "Qianxue, right? Come in." "Yes." The woman was the female ninja, Ling Qianxue. She pushed the door open and knelt on the ground. In the room, Nishima Kikuo was reading a book. When he saw Ling Qianxue come in, he threw the book aside and stared at her calmly without saying anything. Ling Qianxue was very careful. If Nishima Kikuo did not say anything, she did not dare to speak casually. "Did you see Xiaochang? How was it?" Nishima Kikuo closed his eyes and reached out to massage his facial muscles. He calmly asked Ling Qianxue, who was kneeling in front of him. "Master Nishima, Xiaochang is a martial artist. Although I'm not sure of his level, he should be about the same as me." Ling Qianxue said carefully, "I waited in the neighborhood where Su Chuxia lived and saw Xiaochang and Su Chuxia coming back together. Xiaochang's room was opposite Su Chuxia's building. The two rooms faced each other." "Did he recognize you?" Nishima Kikuo asked. "Probably not." Ling Qianxue said, "But his strength is very high, I shouldn't be his opponent in front of him, and I also have the advantage in the dark. If it was in the daytime, I don't have the confidence to defeat him. Or is he from the Supernatural Bureau?" Nishima Kikuo asked. "Most likely. Otherwise, he wouldn't live in the same neighborhood as Su Chuxia and go out together," Ling Qianxue said. This is a little complicated." Yidao Kuroto nodded. "What's the possibility of him kidnapping Su Chuxia under his watch? If there are 2 or 3 ninjas with similar strength to mine, they should be able to restrain Xiaochang. I suspect that he is a martial master." Ling Qianxue said. 2 or 3? Nishima Kikuo shook his head. "Not even 1 is possible. You don't have a criminal record in the past, so you haven't been targeted and recorded by the agents of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau here. Other ninjas with high strength have records with the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Not to mention Lon City, you'll be targeted the moment you enter the country. Please punish me, Lord Yidao." Ling Qianxue lowered her head and said. "It's not your fault." Yukio Yashima waved his hand and said, "We can still gather people by smuggling them, but we can't do that in a short period of time. As for the research base, we must get our hands on the data as soon as possible. Looks like I can only cooperate with Lu Li and the others. Yes. Ling Qianxue carefully nodded, then this subordinate, continue to monitor Xiao Chang. I will instruct you on your next move. I will go meet Kai Lehu and Taoist Lu Li tomorrow, Yashima Kikuo said. On Sunday, Su Chuxia obediently did not go out. Hetian Saorsou played video games at home. They had just bought a new game console, and the two of them had a lot of fun playing. They only had food during the day, but in the evening, Tian Saorsou wanted to eat something good. Why don't we ask Xiao Chang to cook for us? That's not a good idea, right? Su Chuxia hesitated. What's wrong with that? Sister Saorsou will definitely listen. Watch me. Tian Saorsou picked up her phone and dialed Xiao Chen's number. Hello? Saorsou? Xiao Chen saw Tian Saorsou on the phone in the living room. He didn't expect it to be a call from Big Sister. Xiao Chang, we're hungry. We want to have a feast tonight. Can you cook for us tonight? Tian Saorsou said, once Sister Saorsou is full, she will forget some of the unhappy and sad past. She won't think about it anymore. Hee hee. No problem. Xiao Chen smiled. Even if Tian Saorsou didn't say anything else, he didn't think of rejecting her. After all, he was also very bored. The job of monitoring and protecting was not that easy. Xiao Chen went downstairs and drove to the nearby market. Dang dang dang, the sound of knocking came from the door of Su Chuxia's house. The two of them were playing games when Su Chuxia shouted, "Who is it?" "It's me, Xiao Chang." The person at the door said. Because the volume of the game on the TV was very loud, Su Chuxia and Tian Saorsou didn't hear it clearly. Su Chuxia said, "Saorsou, go and open the door." I'll die if I go." Tian Saorsou pointed at her character on the TV and said, "Chuxia, you go. I'm the host. If I die, we'll start over." Su Chuxia said. "Okay." Tian Saorsou ran over reluctantly. She didn't ask much and quickly opened the door. Just as she was about to come back to play, she felt something spray on her face. She immediately became dizzy and didn't know what happened. She fell to the ground with a plop. And the people who came in were Ling Qianxue, Taoist Lu Li, and Kai Lehu. During the day, Yasuo Yashima went to discuss with Kai Lehu and Taoist Lu Li. The three of them discussed that they had to quickly kidnap Su Chuxia and then threaten Su Chuxia's father, Professor Su, to make him hand over the research secrets. After all, the research in the Research Institute was almost at the end. Once the research was completed and the results were handed over, it would be completely useless to threaten them. Although Professor Su was the person in charge of the Research Institute, it was important to know that the results of a research were not the work of one or two people, but the overall effort of the whole team. Once the information was handed over, it would be deleted and backed up. No matter how good Professor Su's memory was, it was impossible for him to restore the results of the research. The only thing he could do was to explain the theory. However, the theory was useless to Kai Wuliang and Yasuo Yashima. They didn't have anyone capable of continuing the research. They got these things for commercial purposes, not for their own research. Unless the Sakura group returned to Japan and handed it over to their country, they wouldn't get any benefits. Therefore, after some discussion, they decided to forcefully take Su Chuxia away. Therefore, the three experts came together to fight against Xiao Chang. They didn't expect Xiao Chang to go out to buy groceries. It didn't take much effort at all. Ling Qianxue was a little regretful. If it was such a good opportunity, she could have done it alone. Master Yashima wouldn't have needed help at all. However, there was no other way. Who would have thought that the opportunity would come so quickly? Saorsou, you. Su Chuxia was just about to ask why he wasn't back yet. When she looked up, she saw 3 strangers in her house. Tian Sourso fell to the ground and didn't know what was going on. "You are," without saying a word, Ling Qianxue went up and sprayed her with a spray. How could a weak woman like Su Chuxia resist at all? She fainted immediately. Ling Qianxue didn't stop. She carried Su Chuxia and quickly walked out with Taoist Luli and Kai Lehu. Kai Lehu and Taoist Luli didn't expect things to go so smoothly, especially Taoist Luli. He was secretly happy. He didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was follow them and he would get a sum of money. This job was really good. However, he didn't think that way anymore. This was because when they were about to get into the car, Xiao Chen's car came back. From afar, Xiao Chen saw 3 people sneaking out of Su Chuxia's unit and walking toward a commercial car. Although Su Chuxia was carried by Ling Qianxue and he couldn't see her face clearly, Xiao Chen recognized Taoist Luli immediately. He took a closer look at the woman carrying the person. Wasn't this the ninja girl who ambushed him in the middle of the night? Xiao Chen immediately became alert. He looked at the clothes of the person the ninja girl was carrying. It must be Su Chuxia. Xiao Chen stepped on the accelerator. The car sped over and directly hit the front of the commercial car. There was a shortage of parking spaces in the neighborhood. There were cars on both sides of the commercial car. Since the front of the commercial car was hit by Xiao Chen's car, they naturally couldn't get out. The 3 people had already gotten into the commercial car and were ready to leave. However, the situation in front of them made it obvious that they couldn't leave. Kai Lehu, Taoist Luli, and Ling Qianxue could only throw Su Chuxia in the back seat of the car and get out. "It really is you guys. Taoist Luli, we meet again." Xiao Chen looked at Taoist Luli coldly. "Why don't you be a good Taoist? Why do you have to rob people? I don't know what you're thinking." Umitba, this humble Taoist is just a bystander. Watch this." After Taoist Luli finished speaking, he took out a horsetail whisk from somewhere and flung it at Xiao Chen. A strong wind blew, and Xiao Chen's expression was a little serious. Chapter 557. This Taoist Luli was actually a martial arts master. Although Yang Ming didn't know if he was a demonic cultivator or something, his strength was not weak. Motherf ****, how can you be so despicable and shameless? Sneak attack. As Xiao Chen said this, he threw a fireball at Taoist Luli's crotch. Aya, what the ****, who's sneak attacking who? Taoist Luli didn't expect that Xiao Chen could use martial arts while dodging. Of course, everyone regarded Xiao Chen's fireball as a martial arts skill. After all, demonic cultivators could use similar martial arts skills. Taoist Luli hurriedly dodged back, but the fireball still hit his crotch. His crotch was immediately caught on fire, causing him to jump all over the ground and keep slapping his crotch. However, how could the Samadhi true fire be extinguished with a casual slap? Taoist Luli thought that it could be easily extinguished, but it didn't. Not only did the fire not extinguish, but it also burned more and more vigorously. What the ***** is this? It's burning me to death. Taoist Luli had no choice but to lie on the ground and start rolling. Martial arts master? And a demonic cultivator? Kai Lehu glanced at Xiao Chen and said, "You are not from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau doesn't have a demonic cultivator like you. What's mysterious about it? What are you talking about? You guys kidnapped my girlfriend. Do you want to die?" Xiao Chen snorted coldly. However, looking at the miserable appearance of Taoist Luli rolling on the ground, Ling Qianxue and Kai Lehu didn't dare to act rashly. The fire on Taoist Luli's body had not been extinguished yet. If he was provoked by Xiao Chen's big move, wouldn't he be as unlucky as Daoist Lu Li? Hurry up and deal with this kid. Otherwise, someone will come later. Daoist Lu Li shouted as he rolled on the ground. He finally extinguished the fire on his body, and his crotch was also burned. He could only take off his shirt and wrap it around his crotch to cover his ugly appearance. You little bee ****, you burned my bird. Why do you need a bird? Xiao Chen smiled and said, anyway, I'm not getting married. Oh, I told you, we are Taoists, not monks. We can get married. Daoist Lu Li said angrily. Oh, then you deserve your bad luck. Xiao Chen smiled. Let's go together and kill this kid. Daoist Lu Li waved his hand and rushed forward. Daoist Li, let Daoist Lu, said. Qianxue, let Daoist Lu shall be. Daoist Lu is Daoist Lu. He wasn't an idiot. He didn't dare to fight Xiao Chen head-on. If he couldn't defeat Xiao Chen and got burned like Taoist Lu Li, he would lose more than he gained. It was more important to kidnap Su Chuxia. Who cared if he could defeat Xiao Chen? So what if he didn't? Wait, don't move. Suddenly, Xiao Chen shouted, and a fireball appeared in his hand. He pointed at Kai Lehu and said, try and move. Do you believe that I will blow you up with a fireball on the fuel tank of my car? Huh. Kai Lehu was shocked and stopped. He didn't dare to move forward. Then you don't want the car anymore? How much is a Jetta? Are you stupid? Xiao Chen rolled his eyes at him as if he was stupid. That's true. Kai Lehu believed it and didn't dare to move. He could see that the kid in front of him was sinister and specialized in dirty tricks. Just now, Daoist Lu Li was almost burned to death by him. And you, ninja girl, if you dare to get in the car, do you believe that I will burn your clothes? Xiao Chen pointed at Ling Qianxue and said. Although Ling Qianxue was wearing a black scarf, she still couldn't help but blush secretly. Thinking about how Xiao Chen grabbed her there yesterday, she immediately cursed Xiao Chen for acting like a hooligan. What do you want? Kai Lehu asked. If you have something to say, let's talk it out. Brother, we don't have any bad intentions. You aren't from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, right? No, what is that place? Xiao Chen asked. You really aren't? Kai Lehu rolled his eyes and asked. It really isn't. Xiao Chen shook his head. Then do you dare to swear it? Swear on your identity as a martial artist that if you are a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, you will never be able to cultivate. Kai Lehu said. Are you sick? Xiao Chen pointed to the Jetta next to him and said, how can I swear? Do you want me to blow up the car again? If you blow up the car, we'll all get hurt. Kai Lehu said carefully. Then I'll blow you up. Xiao Chen threw a fireball at Kai Lehu. F***CK. Fortunately, Kai Lehu reacted quickly and pointed his finger at Xiao Chen. He jumped in fright and quickly dodged. He was almost burned. He was so angry that he shouted, everyone attack together now, he has no more fireballs. Why don't you try? Another fireball appeared in Xiao Chen's hand. Previously, it was his right hand. This time, it was his left hand. Obviously, when he threw the fireball in his right hand, he condensed another one in his left hand. Taoist Lu Li and Ling Qianxue were watching from the side, and Kai Lehu was in a dilemma. Young hero, you see, we can actually cooperate. We didn't want to hurt your girlfriend. Since you are not a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, we can actually cooperate and make money together. You want to make a lot of money, right? I have a car. Will I be short of money? Are you stupid? Xiao Chen said, are you leaving or not? If not, I'll burn you. Kai Lehu was a little angry in his heart. The three of them could actually attack together and defeat Xiaochen. However, Taoist Lu Li and Ling Qianxue obviously had their concerns. If the three of them were not united, there was really nothing they could do. Even if they attacked together, they would not be able to take down Xiaochen if they did not use all their strength. If he went up and fought, he felt that he would not be a match for him. Xiaochen was a fiend master and he was a martial master. He regretted not letting his son Kai Wujin come as well. This way, both father and son were martial masters. It would be better, at least they could work together. Well, look at your car. It's just a Jetta. Kai Lehu continued. Say it again. Xiaochen raised the fireball. Young hero, we'll meet again. See you next time. Kai Lehu turned around and ran. His heart was filled with resentment. F*CKU, Taoist Lu Li and Ling Qianxue, you're just going to watch, right? You're not going to make a move, right? Okay, really okay. Since that's the case, the situation is already over. What's the point of me talking nonsense here? I'll run first. Thinking of this, he directly ran away, abandoning the car. It's only the two of you left. Tell me, what's going on? Why did you kidnap my girlfriend? Xiaochen raised the fireball and asked, you also know that this fireball has to be thrown after a long time. Otherwise, it'll burn your hands. Taoist Lu Li coughed twice. Well. I'm really here to be a bystander. I just want to ask, is the talisman paper and immortal water I gave you yesterday enough? If it's not enough, I still have more. Well, I'll leave first. Stop. Xiaochen said directly, the range of my fireball is a little far. Let me see if your running speed can exceed the speed of sound. 1, 2, 3, run, brother. Taoist Lu Li turned around. My legs are not good, I can't run fast. Well. I don't know either. I'm here to help. Kai Lehu is the mastermind. If you don't believe me, you can ask this female ninja. Ling Qianxue nodded, indicating that what Taoist Lu Li said was right. She also had a headache with Xiaochen. Fortunately, he didn't use the fireball last night. Otherwise, she would have been defeated. The one who ran is the mastermind? Really? Asked Xiaochen. It's true. We're all here to help. I'm here for the money. Taoist Lu Li said, didn't I say it? I want to raise money to repair the Taoist temple. Oh, what about you, ninja girl? Ninja girl? Xiaochen looked at Ling Qianxue. I don't know. My master sent me to help Kai Lehu. Said Ling Qianxue. Forget it. You guys go. Xiaochen waved his hand. If ordinary people saw him holding a fireball, they would definitely feel strange. It wouldn't be good if they attracted a crowd. These people were probably here for Su Chuxia's father. In fact, Xiaochen didn't need to ask to know. Although Xiaochen was holding a fireball, he also knew that this thing wasn't a big threat to Taoist Lu Li and Ling Qianxue who were vigilant. It was no problem to scare them. If they really fought, they would be at a disadvantage. Su Chuxia was still in the car. If Kai Lehu returned and took the opportunity to steal Su Chuxia, he would be in trouble. Therefore, Xiaochen let the two of them leave. Really? You can leave now? Then I'm leaving. If you have time, come to Tianqing Temple to play with me. Taoist Lu Li turned around and ran away. It was as if he was stepping on a flaming wheel. My master won't give up. Said Ling Qianxue. Huh? Xiaochen looked at Ling Qianxue strangely. Are you threatening me? Now that they are all gone, I can easily deal with you. Ninja girl, your figure is not bad. I like it the most. A warrior can be killed but not humiliated. Ling Qianxue stiffened her neck and said, I'm a ninja with the spirit of a warrior. I'm just telling you that I won't give up. If you want to kill me, do it. Oh, I won't kill you. I will, he. Xiao Chen looked at Ling Qianxue with a smile. If you come over, I will bite the poison and commit suicide. There's poison in my mouth. Ling Qianxue looked like she was facing death calmly. Forget it. Xiao Chen waved his hand. He couldn't communicate with this kind of strange female ninja. This person was not only not afraid of death but also afraid of humiliation. Before leaving, she still told him that she wouldn't give up. It was really incomprehensible. However, Xiao Chen had no intention of killing her. He waved his hand and let her go. She was just a brainwashed ninja girl. Xiao Chen wanted to deal with the people behind her, not her. After these people left, Xiao Chen walked to the business car and found that Su Chuxia was already awake. She was hugging her legs and curled up in the car seat. Her eyes were staring outside. You're awake? Xiao Chen walked over and was relieved to see that Su Chuxia was fine. Chapter 558. Yes, you scared them away? Su Chuxia was a little surprised. The three of them didn't look weak, but they were all scared away. I was just lucky. I scared them off. They won't be so lucky next time when they're prepared. Xiao Chen shook his head. This Taoist Lu Li's eyes were a little flickering just now as if he knew that he used the true Samadhi fire of Taoism. Although Xiao Chen wasn't sure, it was hard to guarantee that he wouldn't come up with a countermeasure next time. It really is Taoist Lu Li. You're right. He's not a good person. Su Chuxia sighed. I didn't believe it before, but now, don't think so much. Let's go upstairs. Xiao Chen looked at the key on the driver's seat. Obviously, the three of them didn't have time to remove it. Xiao Chen casually removed the key and said, this car is not bad. I'll commandeer it. We'll drive it to school tomorrow. Pfft. How can you just casually take other people's things? Su Chuxia was amused. She was scared just now, but now she was amused by the relaxed atmosphere. The two of them got out of the car. Xiao Chen took the ingredients out of the Jetta and locked the car. He didn't care about where the car was parked and walked to the entrance of the unit with Su Chuxia. Anyway, these two cars were his anyway. Other than his MPV, it wouldn't affect anyone else. Just as he reached the entrance of the unit, he saw Tian Suruan rushing down the stairs. Clearly, Tian Suruan had woken up and realized that Su Chuxia wasn't there. She rushed down the stairs to chase after her, only to see Xiao Chen and Su Chuxia face to face. Chuxia, are you okay? Tian Suruan saw Su Chuxia and was stunned. Then, she hugged her happily. I'm okay. You stupid Suruan, why didn't you watch when you opened the door? I was almost taken away. Fortunately, Xiao Chang arrived in time. Su Chuxia still had lingering fears. Now, she believed Xiao Chen's words. She knew that he was following her for her own good. Even though she was being monitored by his binoculars, she didn't have any complaints. He was really doing it for her own good. As for himself, he even went to look for Taoist Lu Li to ask for medicine. That Taoist Lu Li was a big swindler and a bad guy. If Xiao Chen hadn't seen through him and taken precautions against him, he might have been fooled. Fortunately, Xiao Chen accompanied him yesterday. Otherwise, he might not have been able to leave the heavenly pure temple. Su Chuxia shuddered at the thought. Sister Sour doesn't know either. I heard the person at the door say that it was Xiao Chang. I was in a hurry to come back to play games, so I opened the door. Who knew that I would faint? Tian Sour said gloomily, it's good that you're fine. Otherwise, would have been scared to death. It's fine. Let's go up. Su Chuxia nodded. By the way, Chuxia, why do these people want to catch you? I vaguely saw that Taoist Luli. Tian Sour asked curiously. I don't know either. Maybe they want to kidnap me to threaten my father. Su Chuxia said, my father's research institute has some top-secret information. Maybe they want to use me as a threat to exchange for information from my father. At this time, Su Chuxia couldn't hide it anymore. She could only tell him what happened. Anyway, Tian Sour should be able to guess a thing or two. If she continued to hide it, she might implicate Tian Sour. Ah. It can't be, right? Then, these people are the so-called hostile forces? Commercial espionage? Tian Sour said in surprise, but, that Taoist, why is he involved? What's the use of that information for him? It's not like he can eat it. Why do you only know how to eat it? Su Chuxia glared at Tian Sour. Didn't you hear him say yesterday that he wanted to rebuild the temple? Maybe he was asked by someone to earn money? If that's the case, this Taoist is really wicked. Tian Sour said, then it's all thanks to Xiao Chang. Oh right, Xiao Chang fought 3 people alone. I think I saw 3 of them. Yes, you know how powerful Xiao Chang is. Not to mention 3, he can even fight 8 to 10, Su Chuxia said. That's true. Tian Sour nodded. That's too scary. Chuxia, they won't come again, right? This. Su Chuxia wasn't sure. It's hard to say. Anyway, be careful. I'll keep an eye on you, Xiao Chen said. Xiao Chang, you're too good to us. Chuxia, why don't you just agree to him? Where can you find a man who treats you so well and protects you like this? If it's Sister Sour, I'll agree. Tian Sour said. Then agree to it. Su Chuxia shrugged. Although he's tall and handsome, he's not rich. He doesn't meet Sister Sour's requirements, Tian Sour said. I think he's quite rich. He has the ability to treat people. I think the 2 of you can work together to open a Taoist temple. Didn't the 2 of you discuss opening a Taoist temple yesterday? Su Chuxia glanced at Tian Sour. That makes sense. Tian Sour nodded. It's just that he doesn't like me. He only likes you. Sister Sour can't do anything about it. How do you know he doesn't like you? Su Chuxia asked. If he likes me, he would have exposed me yesterday. He would have taken advantage of the situation and really wanted to be my boyfriend. But he didn't, which means he doesn't like me anymore. Tian Sour said gloomily, Sister Sour still knows her place. Su Chuxia was speechless. She looked at Xiao Chen. Why don't we tell her the truth? Up to you. Xiao Chen didn't care too much. Since those people had already made their move, his identity would be exposed sooner or later. So, it didn't matter whether he told Tian Sour or not. Hey, what are you 2 talking about? What truth? Tian Sour asked curiously. Don't tell me you 2 are already secretly together? Ahem. Sour, actually, your guess is right. Xiao Chang is actually one of those special agents who returned to school. He's a very powerful, special agent. Su Chuxia said. Is that true? Tian Sour was stunned. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Stop joking. How is that possible? Besides, how did you know, Chuxia? Chuxia is right. I was ordered to protect Chuxia. Xiao Chen took over the topic and said, let's go upstairs and talk. Ah. Oh. Tian Sour looked at Xiaochang in surprise. She didn't know if the two of them teamed up to trick her or if it was true. The three of them went upstairs and returned to the living room. Xiaochen didn't waste any time and said directly, Sour, actually, I'm from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to protect Su Chuxia. This is my ID. As Xiaochen said this, he took out Yang Tan's ID and handed it to Tian Sour. It's true. Tian Sour looked at Xiaochen's ID and was a little surprised. When she saw the photo and name inside, her reaction was similar to Su Chuxia's. Yang Jiannan? What an ugly name. Also, why did you look like a gigolo before? It's really ugly. You look better now. Hee. Xiaochen smiled. So, you don't have to matchmake me with Chuxia. She actually knows that I'm doing this for the mission. Me pursuing her is just an excuse. Me pursuing her and you is actually the same. There's no difference. I'm just creating an illusion in front of outsiders so that they think that I have a reason to be with you all day long. If that's the case, then why don't you pursue Sister Sour? Sister Sour will give you a chance to pursue her. Tian Sour said after listening. Pfft. Su Chuxia snorted. Sour, what's wrong with your brain? It's all fake. What's the difference? It's not the same. Sigh, Sister Sour hasn't experienced what it's like to be pursued. Actually, Sister Sour wants to be in a relationship. It's the fake kind. I want to experience the feeling of being pursued. Tian Sour said. It's all fake. You still want to experience it? Su Chuxia was a little inexplicable. What kind of logic is this? It has to be fake. Tian Sour sighed. I don't know when I'll be taken back by my family, so I don't have much time to play. Aren't there a lot of people pursuing you in school? Su Chuxia asked curiously. Don't tell me you really like Xiaochang. How is that possible? Tian Sour quickly shook his head. The people in school are all childish children. They're not interesting at all. I'm not interested in any of them. Besides, I already said that it's fake. If it's real, I don't dare to do it. If my family finds out that I'm in a relationship with someone else, I'll be hung up and beaten to death. Is it that serious? Su Chuxia was a little puzzled. What kind of family is that? I didn't see them looking for you. It's not time yet. Tian Sour said, it will come when the time comes. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Xiaochang, what do you think of my suggestion? You can pursue me in front of outsiders. Otherwise, Chuxia won't be able to interact with you. Your family is too scary. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally harm you. Oh right, I poked you yesterday. You won't be beaten to death when you go home, right? Xiaochen suddenly thought of the main point of the matter. I lied to you yesterday. It wasn't poked at all. My period came. Tian Sour waved his hand. But it's true that it hurts a little. How can it be poked so easily? I say. Xiaochen didn't quite believe it either, but the blood yesterday wasn't fake. He could only believe it for now. He was relieved when he heard it today. What about my suggestion? Tian Sour asked. Whatever. In any case, I'm fine with it. Furthermore, I don't think I'll have much time left. After this matter is over, I might have to leave. I can't keep carrying out the same mission. Xiaochen nodded and explained, so, I might not be able to chase after them for long. Just a few days. I'm begging you. I just want to experience it for a while. I'll be done once I'm done, Tian Sour said. I really don't understand you, Sour. Can't you just let a random person in school pursue you for 2 days? Su Chuxia was a little puzzled. How can I do that? I have to respond to him. It's like playing a love game. I can't let him pursue me without getting anything in return. I have to slowly accept it. If it's someone from school, can I agree to go on a date with him? If I agree to go on a date with him, wouldn't I be playing a trick on him? Tian Sour said. Chapter 559. I see. Su Chuxia nodded and looked at Xiaochen. Then I don't care. You decide. Anyway, Saori is a troublemaker. Alright, it's a reason to contact you guys. For the time being, Taoist Luli and Kai Lehu don't know my identity. I'll tease them first. Xiaochen nodded. I'll go cook. However, Chuxia, you'd better contact your father and tell him what happened just now. I'll make the corresponding arrangements. Su Chuxia nodded. Xiaochen went to the kitchen to cook. At the same time, he sent a message to Song Huawu to tell them about what happened just now. He asked them to pay close attention to Kai Lehu and Taoist Luli, as well as the islanders in Lan City. Kai Lehu. Xiaochen suddenly thought of Kai Wuliang. Could the two of them be from the same family? Thinking about it, it was possible. It seemed like he had to be more vigilant in school. However, Tian Saori's request made Xiaochen feel a little strange. She wanted him to pursue her. She just wanted to feel it. What was wrong with her? Also, her strange family. He had never heard of such a family. However, there were many things in the world that he didn't know. There were also many levels. Xiaochen couldn't care so much. He could only take care of the things in front of him. In the Wave Club, Kai Lehu sat in the main seat with a depressed expression. He looked at Taoist Luli, Yukio Yashima, and Ling Qianxue beside him and said, I say, you guys are too weak. That Xiao Chang might not be that powerful. If we go together, we can definitely restrain him. Easy for you to say. Why don't you go? I'm already very kind. I was the first to attack, but his fireball is too powerful. It's not easy to extinguish it. I'm still having a headache. Taoist Luli snorted. Boss Kai, you have to compensate me for this loss. Compensation is not a problem, but today's mission has failed. It will be difficult to touch Su Chuxia again. Tell me, who is that Xiao Chang? Is he from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Kai Lehu asked in a deep voice. This kid is sinister and vicious. I don't think he's from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Anne. Taoist Luli didn't continue. And what? Kai Lehu asked. Besides, didn't you say that there is no such person in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Taoist Luli said. That's true. Kai Lehu nodded. Mr. Yashima, your subordinate isn't very good. Did he stop after being scared by someone? We are working together now, so we should trust each other and not retreat. Mr. Kai, I've already asked. You were the one who didn't dare to approach the Jetta first, so Qianxue didn't get into the MPV. Who can you blame for this? Yorishima Kikuo said calmly. I guess so. Then let's talk about the next step of the plan. Kai Lehu waved his hand and didn't want to argue about this anymore. I think the breakthrough point should be Xiao Chang. If we can get Xiao Chang to help us, we can work together to kidnap Su Chuxia and threaten Professor Su. What do you guys think? That Xiao Chang is not easily bewitched, Ling Qianxue spoke at this moment. We have to give it a try no matter what. Taoist Luli rolled his eyes and said, I have met him once before, and we are quite familiar with each other. Why don't I give it a try and see if I can convince him? That's a good idea. Kai Lehu nodded. It's mainly because Xiao Chang's fireball is too annoying. It would be great if it could be cracked. This little Taoist might have a way, said Taoist Lu Li O. Kai Lehu's eyes lit up. Taoist Lu Li, do you have a way? I'm not sure, but I can discuss it with my master. Taoist Lu Li said, but, as he spoke, Taoist Lu Li made a money-counting gesture. Here you go. Kai Lehu was a little unhappy. This Taoist Lu Li was too greedy. He took out his checkbook, wrote a check for 1 million yuan, and handed it to Taoist Lu Li. Is that okay? Okay, but it's a little too little. Taoist Lu Li was a little regretful. It's only 1 million yuan. It's not enough to repair a door. If you can deal with Xiao Chang and get him to help us, I will give you 10 times the amount. Kai Lehu said, this is just an advance payment. That's more like it. Taoist Lu Li chuckled. As for Yashima Kikuo, he was not short of money at all. He and Kai Lehu were just working together to get what they needed. The few of them agreed that Taoist Lu Li would go to look for Xiao Chen, and the others would stay put for the time being. After these people left, Kai Wujin walked in. Dad, I heard that Xiao Chang is a martial arts master. Yes, don't provoke him. Kai Lehu nodded. You are not his match. If your brother and I go alone, we might not be his match either. His fireball technique is very impressive. Then, Su Chuxia and I. Kai Wujin was a little depressed. Although he had a motive for pursuing Su Chuxia, she was indeed very beautiful and had the demeanor of a goddess. If she chased after him, he would be proud. If he brought her out, he would brag about it. However, the appearance of Xiao Chang messed up everything. Don't mess around. Before figuring out where Xiao Chang came from, it's best not to have any ideas about him. This guy is a little strange, Kai Lehu reminded. Yes, father. I understand. Kai Wujin nodded. Taoist Lu Li hurried back to Tianqing Monastery and immediately went to look for his master, Perfected Jiao Pian. Perfected Jiao Pian had just come out of seclusion. Perfected Jiao Pian had tacitly allowed Taoist Lu Li to participate in this matter. Otherwise, Taoist Lu Li would not have dared to act on his own. How was it? Did you succeed? Perfected Jiao Pian asked when he saw Taoist Lu Li return. No, don't mention it. Look at me. As he spoke, Taoist Lu Li took off the clothes around his waist, revealing his burnt crotch. Pfft. Perfected Jiao Pian was shocked. Lu Li, what happened to you? Did you sit on a brazier? Hey, don't mention it. Master, I was burned with fire, and I suspect that it was the true Samadhi fire. Taoist Lu Li said. What? It's our Taoist's true Samadhi fire? Really? Perfected Jiao Pian was stunned and said, what happened? Tell me in detail. Yes. Taoist Lu Li nodded and told Perfected Jiao Pian in detail about what happened today. Perfected Jiao Pian suddenly fell into deep thought. According to what you said, this Xiao Chang knows talismans and asked you for talisman paper and cinnabar. He could even activate the true Samadhi fire today. Is he also a cultivator? I also have some doubts about this. Taoist Lu Li said, so, he is not easy to deal with. In that case, this Xiao Chang is not a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. It is impossible for the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to have a cultivator that we do not know. Perfected Jiao Pian nodded and said, however, it is not impossible to deal with the true Samadhi fire. It is not a problem to simply defend. Oh. Master has a way? Taoist Lu Li was immediately delighted. It is just the true Samadhi fire. According to the strength you mentioned, you only need to buy a few fireproof suits from the fire brigade, Perfected Jiao Pian said. The fireproof suit can't defend against the true Samadhi fire, right? Taoist Lu Li thought for a while and said. Of course, it can't defend against it normally. However, I just need to cast a spell on it and set up a fireproof array. If you are worried, you can also use a few fire-extinguishing talismans. Then, it will be foolproof, perfected Xiaofan said. Oh. That's good. Now, we can deal with Xiao Chang. I will go and talk to him first. If it doesn't work, we will use force, Taoist Lu Li said. I will need a few days to set up the array here. You go and talk to Xiao Chang first. If it is okay, it is better to resolve it peacefully. Amitba. Perfected Xiaofan nodded and said, but he seemed to be thinking about something. Xiao Chen cooked a table full of delicious food. Su Chuxia and Tian Souring ate happily. At night, Xiao Chen reminded them not to open the door to strangers. If anything happened, they were to call him immediately. Then, he prepared to leave. Xiao Chang. Xiao Chen walked to the door but was stopped by Tian Souring. Don't forget. Start courting me tomorrow. Tian Souring reminded him. Courting? All right, I won't forget. Xiao Chen smiled bitterly. He had done many courting others in the past, but that was when he was weak and pretended to be a playboy. At that time, he would send flowers to Shen Jingxian and do something romantic. Speaking of which, it had been a long time since he had courted a girl. He was not used to Tian Souring's sudden request. Tian Souring sent Xiao Chen off with satisfaction and closed the door. When she turned around, she saw Su Chuxia staring at her. She was shocked. Ah, Chuxia, what are you doing? Souring, have you really fallen for Xiao Chang? Su Chuxia asked curiously. Ah. How is that possible? Tian Souring blushed and said, Sister Souring just wants to experience the feeling of being in love. That's it. Otherwise, if I get caught, I won't be able to experience it for the rest of my life. Alright, your family is really amazing. Su Chuxia didn't ask any more questions. From her point of view, since she knew that Xiao Chen was from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he would eventually leave. If Tian Souring really wanted to date him, it would be a little silly. She knew that he was just a passerby in her life, so why would she want to date him? Su Chuxia shook her head and said, Go to bed early. After what happened today, I'm scared out of my wits. Xiao Chen woke up early. The next morning, he had nothing to do, so he went to Su Chuxia's house. Since the door could be opened without a key, he casually opened it and went to the kitchen to get busy. There were still a lot of leftover ingredients from yesterday. Xiao Chen planned to make a breakfast of love for Tian Souring. Although Tian Souring's request was a little ridiculous and strange, Xiao Chen could see her desire, so he agreed. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.